the Valspar Championship, he had a big word with himself and said, don't cruise because you've had a decent week this week. Let's ram home the good form that you have. And he did that by winning in his last outing a big title on the PGA Tour. He's had a couple of weeks off. In that time, he's revealed to us that he's an expectant father now as well. His brother Alex has won on the DP World Tour. So life is good for Matt Fitzpatrick, and this could be a big week for him.
Yeah, we'll hear from Matt Fitzpatrick himself at half-time in the football, which is Sporting against Arsenal. That one kicks off in 15 minutes. Obviously, five-time Masters winner Tiger Woods not at Augusta this week, Trish, following his arrest last month. And the players have been asked a lot about him. Jason Day said yesterday he's a little bit selfish and put other people in harm's way. And he also added, though, it's hard to see him go through what he's going through, and especially under the microscope. It could be hard to be who he is and have everything and have everyone look on kind of down on him. I think the reaction of the golfing world to Tiger Woods is very interesting, because they know that this is behaviour that obviously has to be criticised, but it feels, Trish, as though the golfing world feels that maybe they understand a part of Tiger's life that the wider world doesn't see.
Well, I think from me personally, the one thing more than anything, an injured golfer is a very unhappy golfer. There's no two ways about it. The amount of operations that Tiger has gone through, it's not normal in any shape or form, let alone to then be as successful as he has done after those operations. And just to be in constant pain, forget being a professional golfer. Any person that knows when you're in constant pain, it's a dreadful position to be in. You don't think straight at all. Now, that's not, obviously, I think he's extremely fortunate that in the accidents that he has had, no one else has got injured. And there's no two ways about it. When you are as successful and as famous and as rich as he is, then you don't put yourself in that position. But I do have sympathy for his plight. You know, if it was drunk driving, I wouldn't have an ounce of sympathy at all. The fact that he's on painkillers probably 24/7, that's the place where you can have a little bit of sympathy. But where that goes over, you can draw the line at that, is because if you know that's the position you're in, then you just make sure you don't get behind the wheel of a car. It's as simple as that. And thank heavens that no one else has been injured at this stage, and hopefully he'll never put himself in that scenario again.
Trish and Ian, lovely to talk to you both. Thank you so much. Enjoy the week ahead. Augusta is the scene. The Augusta National for 4 days, starting at 8 o'clock on Thursday on Sports Extra. You can listen to Ian Carter and Trish Johnson, very much part of our commentary team out in the States. So we'll keep you across everything that's happening there. Elsewhere today, Wales captain Aaron Ramsey announced his retirement from professional football, widely considered as one of Wales' greatest players. And Harry Maguire has signed a new one-year contract with Manchester United and has the option to extend for a further year. We'll have more on both of those stories at half-time. But for now, we're going to head back to Lisbon. Commentary of Sporting against Arsenal is on the way. Portuguese football expert Tom Kundert has joined John Murray and Matthew Upson in the Portuguese capital. Good evening to you, Tom. I'm just looking at the quotes from one of Sporting's legendary players, Ricardo Sapinto, who told us recently that Sporting was seen as the ugly ducklings in Portugal for many years. So is this the night where they turn into a swan?
I certainly hope so, yeah. People here are so excited about this game, you know, all Sporting fans, obviously. The last time they reached this stage of this competition, it was 1983, which is the only previous time they've got to the quarterfinals. It was the European Cup then. They've never got to this stage, you know, in this new format of the Champions League. So, yeah, you know, 17 games unbeaten. No, actually, it's better than that. 17 straight wins at Alvalade. That's a club record in 120 years of history. They've never done that. And on this last weekend, they clocked up their 17th win here in their own stadium. So, yeah, they're certainly in good form and confident they might be able to cause an upset.
Tom, how are they doing that? How are they putting together that incredible run?
Well, you know, I think Sporting have really been a club completely metamorphosised over the last 5 years. Like Sapinto told you, they really were the ugly duckling of Portuguese football, because they're a big club, but they just constantly failed. Didn't win the league for 2 decades. And it was one man who really turned them around, and that man was Ruben Amorim. I'm sure you've got a few, everyone in England have got their own opinion about him. But here in Portugal, he was an absolute genius of a manager, and he completely turned Sporting around. When he left for Manchester United, a lot of people thought it would all come tumbling down. But to be fair, the new man, the new manager has really kept it going well, and Sporting very strong again this year. And yeah, who knows? I don't want to get too excited, because I remember speaking to you, Kelly. I don't know if you remember, almost exactly a year ago, talking up Sporting before they were about to play Arsenal, saying how good they were and how a tough game Arsenal win for. Arsenal won 5-1. So I think whenever a Portuguese team plays an English team, there's always a danger that can happen, because, for instance, I was just looking at the team sheet here. Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus on the bench. Both of those together cost 100 million. The whole Sporting squad wouldn't have cost 100 million. So, a huge difference in finance, and obviously that is reflected in the quality of player.
Tom, we are going to talk more about the football, but we can't ignore what's going on in the stadium at the moment. That was so we heard first of all the March to Sporting, is that right? The Sporting march, and then what was that one? I love when we get into the Champions League knockout stage, hearing all the rituals from right round Europe.
Yeah, well, I think the big ritual you should watch out for is at kick-off time, right at kick-off time, the Sporting hymn will be played, and that is really, it brings a lump to the throat of any Sporting fan. It's the Sporting hymn, which is sung to the tune of Frank Sinatra's My Way, and that's always played actually as the game kicks off. And that just really whips the crowd into a bit of a manic fury. Yeah, but this is a good one as well. There's a whole, just they're quite complex, a lot of the chants and songs, and the atmosphere is certainly building up here nicely.
Well, John Murray and Matthew Upson will bring us that very shortly, because we're only 10 minutes away from kick-off. I just want to talk a little bit about Victor Gyökeres. And John Murray, he moved for £55 million to Arsenal last summer from Sporting. Has he been out and warming up, and what sort of reception did he get?
Yeah, interesting, because there was a lot of talk about this yesterday, wasn't there, Tom, in the build-up to this match, because it was slightly acrimonious the way that he left, because if you remember, he downed tools and didn't turn up for pre-season training, and so therefore there was that little feeling that he was forcing the move, and so the feeling yesterday was that he might get a hostile reception. But at the very outset tonight, when he walked out onto the pitch with 2 or 3 of his Arsenal teammates, still quite a lot of Sporting fans were already in the stadium then, and there was loud applause for him. And actually, he looked a little taken aback by that. And he himself looked up at the stands and applauded back to them.
Well, I have to say, John, 97 goals. 97 goals in 2 seasons. That is absolutely incredible. He's a club legend, there's no doubt about it. Sporting won back-to-back championships for the first time in 60 years last year. And the main man who delivered those championships was Victor Gyökeres. And so you're absolutely right. Some of the really hardcore, fanatical fans, they certainly didn't like the way he kind of forced his move, his way out. But the vast majority of Sporting fans will, only have good things to say about Victor Gyökeres and only have good memories of him.
Andros Townsend and Statman Dave are also with us. Dave, how important is Gyökeres in big games?
I think that's the side where I don't think Arsenal bought him for these bigger games, Kelly. I think he's the player that they bought to be that kind of flat-track bully in Portugal that last season, 39 goals in 33 Liga Portugal games. And just reflecting on kind of how Sporting used Victor Gyökeres, it very much was get him the ball in the final third as much as possible. And I suppose that's something that's changed at Arsenal. When you looked at his numbers, when he had over 40 touches, he would usually score a hat-trick, be involved in multiple goals. And there would be a real impactfulness in the final third, carrying, making things happen. He averaged around 5 shot-creating actions per 90, which is crazy for a centre-forward. But just looking at his numbers at Arsenal this season, he's averaging around 27 touches per 90, which puts him in the bottom sort of 30% of strikers in Europe. they're not maybe feeding the Victor Gyökeres similar to we saw at Sporting. It's a bit of a different one. It's a player that's waiting in the penalty area, but all of his touch numbers are a lot lower than what we had in Portugal. So I suppose that's his next challenge, is how can he step up and maybe score more goals with his head in the box, or take on players in different areas and try and improve himself in the Premier League and obviously in the Champions League.
I think that's interesting, Dave, because you look at Gyökeres' profile and some of the games he had for Sporting in the Champions League, he's probably more set up to be a target man against the bigger sides. When Arsenal are under the cosh against Man City, for example, can they find him with his presence? Can they put a ball in behind with his pace and with his power to go 1 against 3 defenders and make something happen? So I think his profile is suited for the big games, even though at the moment, like you're saying, he is scoring most of his goals against the lesser sides.
Yeah, for sure. I think just on that, Kerry. So just to with the big thing with that when he came to the Premier League, one of the things that was a concern when looking at his data, Andros, was how good he was with his head. I think he scored 2 goals from 41 headed shots in the Portuguese league. That was a concern because Arsenal love to flood the box. They love to throw the crosses into the penalty area. Why Kai Havertz is so good because of his head, and I think that's something that maybe again doesn't quite suit Arsenal in these types of games.
There's been a goal at Port Vale. David Kernan.
Indeed, there has an early goal for the home side. Port Vale 1, Rotherham 0. They're attacking at the moment. It might be 2. Hang on for a second. Oh no, the referee's just given a free kick to Rotherham. But anyway, a huge mix-up at the back for the visitors. A couple of minutes ago, defenders literally clattering into each other. The ball fell to Ryan Crosdale, and it's a really smart finish on the half volley at the edge of the penalty area. What a fantastic start for Port Vale. 10 minutes on the clock. Port Vale 1, Rotherham 0.
Sporting against Arsenal is our commentary match this evening. Tom, Sporting on that excellent run of home form that you mentioned earlier. What can we expect from the team this evening? How will they look to get the better of Arsenal?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because from one point of view, this is the furthest Sporting have got, like I said, in the Champions League. It's almost like a free hit. Arsenal are one of the favourites to win the whole competition. They're probably going to win the Premier League. So Sporting have just done really well to get here. So from that point of view, you can say they maybe will play with a little bit of freedom without too much pressure. On the other hand, they're in such good form. Arsenal have wobbled a little bit recently. They may feel that they can really have a chance of getting through this tie. So I actually expect quite a cagey game. I wouldn't be surprised if it was quite similar to I saw the Arsenal's previous game against Leverkusen, and I think that was 1-1, wasn't it, the first leg. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a similar kind of game here.
Kelly, I'm going to put Tom to good use here, because inside the stadium right now, this is quite novel. All of the Sporting fans have been given little cardboard cutouts of the Champions League ball, and they're holding them all above their heads. And a massive tifo has been lifted up, Tom, on the far side of the field, which has got a Sporting shirt on it. So the badge is there, the crest of the city. And written across the banner, it says...
A minha vida és tu, my life is you, as in you, Sporting Club de Portugal.
And it is quite effective, because it's not behind the goal, Kelly. It's on the side of the pitch, so the players will actually see it as they walk out of the tunnel.
A spectacular sight for the players to come out to. It's a huge game ahead. Dave, were you coming in there?
No, just in terms of Sporting, obviously we're not kind of spoken about the replacement, Luis Suarez, that's done very, very well for Sporting, directly involved in 40 goals in 42 games. He's going to be a threat tonight, especially supported by Trincao. I thought Trincao was superb against Bodo Glimt, created 4 chances, 2 assists. So I think if there's anyone that can cause Arsenal a problem, it'd be those as a pairing.
I think the most impressive thing about Sporting and watching their game against PSG a few months ago is, yes, they had 20-30% possession against Europe's best side, but when they did get the ball, they were looking to play out of the press. They weren't looking to go long and play counter-attack. When they had the ball, they were looking to play their game, and just shows the confidence they have at this stadium. And Arsenal need to be wary of that. They're not playing a counter-attacking side. They're playing a side who's going to look to take the game to Arsenal as well.
And a side who are on a fantastic run of form, and yet opt to suggest that Arsenal are the most likely side of all of the teams taking part in these quarter-final stages of the Champions League to progress to the semi-finals. But Matt, in some ways for Arsenal, nothing's changed. They're still top of the league by 9 points. They're about to potentially head into the semi-finals of the Champions League if they can overcome Sporting. But because of recent results, this game, as the Champions League anthem starts up, feels even bigger than it did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, of course it does. It will do with the recent results that they've had. But this is a great opportunity, Kelly, for Arsenal to really assert themselves again on the European stage. They've got to have that swagger, that arrogance on the pitch. Yes, they've been defeated, and that's hurt, and they've had to go away and obviously deal with that, like Mikel Arteta said, emotionally and as a group. But tonight's a night where they can actually show that they're the best team in Europe, and that's the only mindset they need to be in here, just to show how good they are. Each and every single player that is picked tonight have to do that on the biggest stage, and if they do, I think they'll perform well and should win the game. But Arsenal have to get back into that mindset of winning.
Thank you for now to Andros Townsend and Statman Dave. You can follow all of tonight's action alongside the final score graphics with Champions League final score. Just go to the BBC Sport website and app or the BBC iPlayer, click on Champions League final score. Arsenal have never won away against Portuguese opposition in the knockout stages. Can they do it tonight? Taking you through it, Matthew Upson and John Murray.
Yes, thank you very much, Kelly, and welcome everyone from inside the Estadio José Alvalade in the beautiful city of Lisbon, the Portuguese capital, just to the north of the city centre, and a huge roar from the Sporting fans as the Champions League anthem ekes out its final bars, and now they take down that massive tifo on the opposite side of the ground, and they'll fold it up behind the advertising hoardings. This is one of the most formidable challenges in European football right now, to come here, inside this ground, and take on Sporting, the Portuguese champions. As we've heard, they've won all 5 home Champions League matches this season and won their last 17 matches in all competitions inside this stadium, a club record. PSG were sent packing in the league phase. They swamped Buda Glimt after losing 3-0 in Norway. They absolutely romped it here against the Norwegians. And Arsenal come here, Matt Upson, off their worst run of the season. 2 defeats in a row for the first time during this campaign.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why they have to have such a noticeable shift up, John. And it's a shift up in that mindset, in that mentality of we're the best team, we're the best players, and it's an arrogance that Arsenal have to come here and show that. It's not going to be handed to them, and it's going to be a really tough environment. I think Sporting are going to play high tempo. They're going to really try and get Arsenal on the back foot early in the game, so it's all about that mindset for Arsenal.
Final preparations down on the pitch. Tracksuit tops are off. Arsenal tonight going in the double grey, Matt. The dark grey shirts, light grey shorts, and the black socks. I see Declan Rice back in the Arsenal team, back from injury, just trotting across the field and applauding up to the top tier, which is where all of the thousands of Arsenal fans are inside the ground. The Sporting team tonight, they are without their captain, Morten Hjulmand, who's suspended. So Rui Silva is the goalkeeper. Back 4 of Fresneda, Diomande, Inacio, the captain tonight, and Araujo, Maxi Araujo. Then in midfield, the teenager, João Simoes, has come in to take the place of Hjulmand alongside Hidemasi Morita. Then Francisco Trincao had a spell at Wolves. Jenny Catano on the right, Pote on the left. That's his nickname. Pedro Gonçalves, his full name, but they call him Pote. And then the top scorer, the Colombian Luis Suarez, the number 97 up front, 33 goals this season. He was the replacement for Gyökeres, who leads the line for Arsenal with Havertz on the bench. So Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori. Then Zubamendi, Odegaard and Rice are back together in the midfield. Madueke and Trossard either side of Gyökeres. And we heard from Tom, didn't we, who was here, who gave it the big build-up, the Sporting hymn of Sporting Lisbon. The whistle, and as the hymn floats away into the skies above the Alvalade, Declan Rice gets the first touch of the match and takes the kick-off back towards the edge of his penalty area. Remember, Arsenal won 5-1 here last season in the league phase of the competition, but this is a different kettle of fish, Matt.
Oh, absolutely. Very different game, different feel to it. And like I say, Sporting with a real swagger and confidence at home, almost feeling unbeatable, John, in this stadium, and that's a powerful thing, and something that Arsenal are going to have to overcome.
And Arsenal almost respectfully, while the anthem, the hymn, sings out, just keep possession inside their own half and knocking it around there, and a huge cheer as now all of those Sporting fans take their seats. And this is a big occasion for Sporting. Arsenal are trying to get to the semi-finals for a second season running in this competition. They've never done that before, whereas for Sporting to play in a quarter-final in this premier competition in European club football, they've not done that since 1983. Arsenal with the ball inside their own half, and here is Declan Rice. In fact, last time Sporting appeared in a quarter-final in this competition, it was actually in Mikel Arteta's hometown in San Sebastian, 10 days before Mikel Arteta's first birthday. Arsenal playing a long pass forward for Gyökeres, but he won't reach that, and it is through to goalkeeper Rui Silva. So the match has begun. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich is underway as well. Phil McNulty, our colleague, is there, and he tells me that Thomas Tuchel is in the Bernabeu tonight, watching Harry Kane, who is in the team, Bellingham on the bench, Trent Alexander-Arnold starting. We'll keep you right across that. Sporting win a free kick in the central third of the field, and they have a spell of possession now. It is also a 5 Live Champions League final score night, I should tell you. So the video printer and all of the various graphics, you can watch them while you listen to the commentary on the red button, iPlayer, BBC website and app. Just click on 5 Live Champions League final score. It is Sporting in the famous green and white hooped shirts, who pass the ball back to Diomande near the halfway line. The Senegal, the Ivory Coast international, passes it out to the right-hand side. Luis Suarez comes deep. Now again it is with Fresneda, swings the ball to the left-hand side. Maxi Araujo pushing up from left back, he can get forward. In fact, he did play in a very forward position, if you remember, for Uruguay at Wembley during the recent international window. Now in possession of the ball, it is Pote, and the crowd, the noise levels go up inside the stadium here because Sporting are having a concerted spell of possession. It is with Jenny Catano on the right-hand side, the Mozambique international. And then it's worked forward, but Arsenal, Declan Rice just stretches out a leg, and as the ball was passed forward, Arsenal back in possession.
Yeah, it's a long passage of play, though, that Sporting had the ball, wasn't it? Really moving the ball nicely. They're a good footballing team. A lot of players just really creating space, lovely movement off the ball, slick passing.
And Arsenal with the ball with Martin Odegaard in centre field. Mikel Arteta, of course, will be very pleased to have Rice, Trossard, Gabriel as well, who, when he went off on Saturday night, Matt, I thought, well, he won't be playing in Lisbon on Tuesday evening, but here he is.
I think a lot of people felt that, and I don't know if he's been carrying a little bit of a knee issue. You know, you're at that stage of the season, John, when you play the amount of games that these guys have played. No one hasn't got a niggle, no one hasn't got some form of problem, but it's just about managing it and getting through this period.
Yes, for Gabriel, it's his 40th appearance of the season for Arsenal. Actually, in total, it's his 250th appearance for the club. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. This is the sound of Lisbon on 5 Live. Listen as well to 5 Live via BBC Sounds, and we'll keep you across all of the matches that are being played tonight, including in League 2, Aaron Paul.
What a fabulous goal this is for Shrewsbury. This wasn't in the script, John. Bromley 0, Shrewsbury 1. Bradley Ihonvien beating Marcus Iville, able just to control the ball, drill it past the goalkeeper. It took a wicked deflection of the goalkeeper. He couldn't keep it out, and Shrewsbury ahead here. Bromley 0, Shrewsbury 1.
Yes, Bromley, the League Two leaders, who have shown one or two vulnerabilities recently. Sporting take up possession of the ball with Luis Suarez, and then it's worked to the right-hand side, but across comes Declan Rice. He gets there first, and the Arsenal midfielder is able to take it out into the left-back position and play it downfield, where Sporting actually win back possession. The hard-working Japanese midfielder Morita was quickly across, and Sporting had got it back.
Yeah, is there a better midfield player in Europe that mops things up than Declan Rice? Honestly, the way he drops into those full-back positions, John, and just senses danger. He cleans little situations up all the time. Once he gets his leg, that stride really opening the rhythm, he just gobbles up the ground.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. Still 0-0 in the
what a pass.
Oh, lovely ball played forward. Maxi Araujo could be in. Shoots against the crossbar, and it comes back out. That's a big let-off for Arsenal. Maxi Araujo, and the referee has spotted a foul on the edge of the penalty area in the aftermath of that. Sporting so close to taking the lead. The half a width of the crossbar away, and now they've got a free kick just outside the box.
I didn't see who made that pass, John. I was too busy admiring it. What a ball, outside of the right boot. Is it the centre-back? It is. It's Diomande, isn't it, with the pass. Outside of the right boot, bends it inside Ben White, between him and Saliba. Weight was absolutely perfect. I mean, that is some pass from a centre-back. Brilliant opening parts of the game. Rattles it off the crossbar with his left foot with the shot, and now they're lining up just kind of outside the 18-yard box to the right-hand side, and I'm looking at the picture of Mikel Arteta. He's looking a little bit edgy.
And it was Declan Rice area. Declan Rice who conceded the free kick.
Yep.
In the aftermath of that, just caught Catamo and brought him down. So it's a free kick, good position. Trincao standing to the right of the ball, but also Pote to the left. Now the angle would suggest probably left foot Trincao, but the Arsenal wall, they've got the man lying down behind it. Pote just steps away. Maybe it will be him, or will it be Trincao who hits it, but it hits straight into the wall. Poor really. And then the shot from distance from Maxi Araujo is at it again, and that flashes over the bar by probably no more than a foot and a half.
Yeah, well, he is a player that on the plane over, having a look at their team, it was like interesting to see him play. I didn't see him play live at Wembley like you did. I mean, it was a different game for him.
Yeah, and actually, Matt, he was anonymous at Wembley and was substituted.
But I think he suits that deeper position, doesn't he? Because he then got the space to really maraud forward. I mean, he looks all action, doesn't he? There's never a dull moment when he's around.
That was very much from Sporting, like the Sporting team that absolutely swamped Buda Glimt here with a pass like that from Diomande. But this is good as well from Arsenal. Odegaard still 0-0 early stages. Now here's Madueke. First time we've seen him into the action on the right-hand side. He's challenged by Maxi Araujo, and then Madueke in an offside position as the ball was passed back to him. And it is 0-0. And free kick to Sporting in their own defensive third. So I wonder how things have started in the other quarter-final first leg tonight. It's Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, kind of speaks for itself. Maz Farouki is monitoring the pictures.
Well, Carreras has just cleared an Upamecano chance pretty much off the Real goal line, John. Bayern starting really well. A couple of corners and free kicks as well, which really haven't been defended convincingly at all. The German side on top at the moment at the Bernabeu. Real 0, Bayern 0.
Thank you, Maz. As I say, Phil McNulty, our BBC colleague, is there. He'll be writing about that on the BBC website. Alex Howell is here, and you'll be able to read his words on this match on the football pages of the BBC website. Ball played back to Raya, who had virtually nothing to do until that Maxi Araujo shot rattled the crossbar. Then Sporting play it forward again. Here is Luis Suarez, who does very well. And then stepping forward, Fresneda, the Spanish right back. Catamo into the penalty area. Catamo still going, shoots from the angle, and goalkeeper Raya is able to deal with that quite comfortably and then gives it out underarm. We're going to go to Wrexham in a moment, but Arsenal bringing it forward, although then it's back to Rice. So to Wrexham and Sani Rudravajala.
where Southampton have taken the lead. It's a brilliant start from them as well, and it looks like it's the Japanese player Kuruyu Matsuki on the turn inside the box, loads of space, sets himself and puts it beyond the Conquo. They'd already hit the bar twice moments before that, and now they are ahead. Wrexham 0, Southampton 1.
So 1-0 to Wrexham and 1-0 to Southampton as Arsenal come forward. Here's Gyökeres inside the penalty area, back to goal, but defender was there as well, and a cross from left back. Maxi Araujo, who's been everywhere in the opening 10 minutes of this match, suddenly appeared, motored in, took the ball away, and he's certainly not anonymous tonight.
No, he's very much not anonymous. I mean, that was good play from Diomande as well as the ball goes into Gyökeres. He wants to kind of hold it up and just roll the centre-back, but he held his position well, and Sporting got players back. Arsenal just looking to calm the game down a little bit and just get hold of the ball. They want to slow the tempo. Sporting, when they get up and at it, John, they don't have to go forwards with real presence, don't they?
Yeah, and as I say, that match against Buda Glimt, when probably the Buda Glimt story was, you know, just sort of, they'd eked everything out of that, but I mean, it was 5-0, and from 3-0 down, remember, after the first leg. Here's Madueke, crossing, left-footed from the right-hand side. Diomande gets up, he's able to head that away. Gabriel is able to pass it forward, and then gets it back. And Arsenal now with the ball inside Sporting territory. The Portuguese champions, currently second place in the table, 5 points behind Porto, and 2 points ahead of Benfica. But Sporting do have a match in hand, the big three of Portuguese football. The other two have both won the European Cup, won it twice each. Arsenal coming forward with it, Gabriel, and then it's played back centrally. Here is Declan Rice, back in action after his forced layoff, missing the England matches as well, although he did get onto the training field on the Saturday, but it was just decided that it was not worth risking him in those matches. But then, of course, missed the FA Cup match on Saturday night as well, Rice. Here's Madueke taking on Maxi Araujo, who was, as the ball was played past him, he blocked the Arsenal man, who has gone down in a heap, and the referee, who is the German, Daniel Siebert, is quickly across to give Maxi Araujo a good kicking off.
Yeah, he was adamant it wasn't a foul, but I'm pretty safe to say that it was a foul. I mean, he just trips Madueke, he slows him down, and then as he touches the ball, the outside of his right foot to go past him, it's a clumsy tackle from Araujo, gets his legs all tangled up with him, and he goes down.
I think he might have gone across and said something to the assistant as well.
He did. He went straight over to the near side.
That's why he got the ticking off.
Yes.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. Champions League quarter-final first leg. Still 0-0, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. If you're listening to 5 Live tomorrow night, it'll be the sounds of the Parc des Princes. Instead, Ian Dennis and Paul Robinson will be there. And I think we're going to hear from Paris at half-time in this match. But that's tomorrow. This is now. Free kick. Madueke is okay. He's got that strapping on his wrist again. Just sprained his wrist, he was telling us, with England. And he's still wearing the bandage. But he's all right. Odegaard with a free kick. Left-footed in, and it's headed down and wide of the near post. And it was a defender who got the touch, says the referee. He's given the corner. So it is a corner to Arsenal. And you know what that means.
I'll tell you what, it's a great defensive header, though. I think it's Diomande again. Brilliant ball in from Odegaard with his left foot. The height was perfect, just above head height, as Arsenal players are running across the ball. And as Diomande comes all the way across in front of the goalkeeper and just heads it out, does really well.
Madueke, in the absence of Bukayo Saka, it's Madueke taking the corners from this side. Arsenal have scored from 24 corners this season. That's the latest number.
It's interesting, the referee speaking to, who is that on the back post there, causing a lot of trouble. I mean, in Europe, you can't get away with the kind of things that you see in the Premier League that much.
Gabriel, of course.
Gabriel.
Who did you expect?
Yeah, who else?
Well, the referees, the UEFA referees, will talk about Arsenal in their meetings, won't they?
Yeah.
And how to deal with this. So it's a corner, first corner of the match. Madueke to play it in. Arsenal players running everywhere. And it's played in, it hits the crossbar, bounces out into the penalty area. Odegaard drives it, but pulls it wide as defenders were diving in front of them. I think there were 4 of them threw themselves at the feet of Odegaard. He was looking to hit that shot. And initially, the Madueke corner which was devilishly delivered. I think it did
right off the
crossbar. It did.
Yeah.
Goalkeeper went for it, but I don't think he got a touch.
Missed it, yeah. Missed it completely off the crossbar, and the ball kind of skimmed down right into the 6-yard box, where Sporting got lucky, to be honest. The ball just didn't quite fall to an Arsenal play. It's much better presence on the set plays, John. The delivery in has been very, very good, and Arsenal look a real threat.
They do. So Sporting have hit the crossbar. It was a real crossbar rattler as well, wasn't it? As Odegaard plays the ball back into the penalty area after Sporting lost possession in their own defensive third, but the goalkeeper was able to deal with that. Diamande, little stumble from him, and then Fresneda might have given it away, but there's a foul in there. And Calafiori conceded it, just has a little word with the referee, but it's a free kick to Sporting halfway inside their own half. 15 minutes played, brilliantly atmospheric inside the ground. Everything here is green.
Yeah.
You are left in no uncertain terms what the club colour is when you come to the Al Balad, whether it's outside, inside. Actually, when they built this for Euro 2004, all the seats were different colours, but they've changed that now. All the seats are club green. Every club official wears green. Yesterday, in the media conference, all of the staff were wearing green suits. It was a little bit like flying Sporting Air, wasn't it? You know, you're expecting to be asked if you want a gin and tonic and a packet of nibbles. Here is Arsenal with the ball on the halfway line. Actually, I don't think that happens on aeroplanes anymore these days, does it? Certainly not where I sit.
Not the nibbles.
Here's Trossard, ball played over the top, and it bounces through for Rui Silva, who's able to take that down. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0, still Real Madrid, Bayern Munich 0. And actually in the other matches tonight, just the 2 goals, Wrexham 0, Southampton 1, and Bromley losing 1-0 at home to Shrewsbury. As well as from Paris at half-time, we will be hearing more from the Masters, and we will be hearing from Matt Fitzpatrick, who's been speaking to James Gregg, who's part of our excellent team out there. Masters coming from Thursday night, the radio commentary on all 4 rounds. Starting 8 p.m. Thursday night, Sports Extra via BBC Sounds or your digital radio. And also Thursday, Bologna-Aston Villa will be here on 5 Live. Commentary from the Europa League live from Italy. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. And the ball out of play for a throw-in to the home side, just next to their coach, who was an interesting figure, I thought, last night. First time I've been up close to him.
You impressed with him?
I was. He had plenty to say for himself. He certainly had a little bit of Ruben Amorim about him, I felt. Rui Borges, or if we actually say it in the Portuguese style, it is Rui Borges. Borges.
Yeah, it's quite a zhuzhy language.
It is. They're like a zhuzh.
Yeah.
But he was talking about some great quotes, some great sound bites. He said, it's a night when we need magic in the Alvalade. And so far, Maxi Araujo almost came up with that. He hit a real zhuzher against the crossbar, didn't he?
He did, and it's a team that's got a bit of, I don't know, something to prove. Maybe like the manager as well, John. Kind of had quite a sharp rise to this position, hasn't he? He's only 44 years old, but he's really... His coaching career has accelerated quickly, and he's now in a top job, managing a team in the top competition across the world, really. And I think that is impressive. And the team's got that kind of feel that it wants to prove that it belongs here.
If you remember, when Arsenal came here and won 5-1 last season, that was in that little spell when João Pereira took charge after Amorim, who was the B-team coach, and he lasted only 6 weeks before Rui Borges came and
he's got a bit about him, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Borges.
Yes. Beige. Is that a tracksuit, or is that? No, it's not, is it? It's a beige jumper and beige trousers and white shoes that he's wearing tonight. Yeah. Beige. His team aren't beige, not at all. Arsenal with the ball on the halfway line. These bluey-grey shirts with the red trim down the sides. Ball being walked forward by Saliba in his yellow boots. Now Madueke gets it. Madueke against Maxi Araujo. And then there's a tangle between the two of them. And of course, they played on the same flank together against Uruguay when Madueke actually picked up that injury that kept him out of the cup match.
Yeah. Interesting battle, isn't it?
It is.
And I think, you know, this guy is so competitive that he just wants to he loves the needle, doesn't he? Araujo. just getting stuck into players, niggling, pulling at the shirt, grabbing them. That's his style of defending, certainly in 1v1s. Madueke is going to have to be quite clever against him. I think if you are, you can get the better of him, but he certainly does try and assert himself.
Well, he's conceded this free kick. Maxi Araujo, or Madueke has won it, so free kick on the right-hand side. We're going to go back to the racecourse ground very shortly, but Rice to take the free kick. And actually, instead of swinging it into the box, he plays it square to the Arsenal captain, Odegaard. Then out to the left-hand side, where Trossard, also returning from injury. Trossard back to the edge of the area. Odegaard swirls it in left foot, and it's headed away by Diomande. A good distance. So come in, Sani Rudravajala.
Where it's Wrexham 0, Southampton 2, and Southampton really having it all their own way here. A free kick from the left. Flynn Downs is free on the edge of the area. It breaks to him. He comes inside. First time, smashes it home. It feels like Southampton have an extra player here. Wrexham all at sea so far. Wrexham 0, Southampton 2.
And that's some effort by Southampton, backing up the win against Arsenal on Saturday night in their very next match.
Yeah, it looks like it's had a real positive impact on the group, doesn't it, to go into this game and start as well as what they have done. Tells you where they're at mentally.
Yeah, they were very good, weren't they, on Saturday night?
Yeah, it's all about timing, the timing. Certainly the Championship, this time of year, April's a huge month, isn't it, with the games, and just find it's about peaking at the right time, and Southampton are doing that.
Yeah, whereas Arsenal have dipped the last couple of matches, and while players are back, as I mentioned, there's no Saka. Timber, who I thought might be involved, but not yet. He's not here in Portugal. Eza's out. Hincapié. Marino, who I think is quite a miss. Marino. But players are back, and injuries are part of football, and you have to deal with it. Zubamendi, and they've got this big squad, spent all the money on it. Zubamendi's ball forward, headed away by Freixneda, this highly rated Spanish right back that Barcelona are said to be interested in. Ivan Freixneda out for a throw. He takes it to Morita, who is very mobile, isn't it? He gets around the field, and then he chips it forward to Pote. Now he has Maxi Araujo in business again. He's got a little bit of space. Ben White comes across. Araujo against White. Madueke comes back as well. White got a foot in, got a foot to the ball, and then White is nudged over by Araujo, hits the deck and wins the free kick.
He is literally a bull in a china shop, isn't he? He loses that ball there, doesn't do enough to go past Ben White, really, 1v1, gets the ball a little bit cut under his feet, tries to nutmeg him, I think. Ben White comes away with the ball, and instead of just putting the brakes on and just slowing him up, he just steams straight into the back of him. Ben White goes over, fouls straight away, high up the pitch. He's all or nothing, the Sporting left-back for sure.
And Sporting putting the press on Arsenal, and ball is deflected away, out of play, off Trincao, as Gabriel was trying to pass it downfield after Raya passed it out to him. And of course, having David Raya back in goal as well, that's a settler too for Arsenal after the two cup matches and everything that happened there. Ball thrown forward, up the line, bounces centre field. Gyökeres might have used an arm to control that. However, passes it out to Madueke. Play continues. Madueke drags it back with his left foot, then gives it to Odegaard. Odegaard turning in the middle of the half. Odegaard gives it away. Sporting here might have a chance for a counter-attack. Arsenal, bluey-grey shirts trying to get back. Catamo wants it on the far side, but they don't play it. Luis Suarez actually goes back towards the halfway line.
Yeah, was it Trincao that maybe could have hit that early, didn't get his head up and see it. There was a massive run from Catamo on the right-hand side, steaming the other side of Calafiori, but he just didn't see him.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. This is BBC Radio 5 Live. We have already heard from Rory McIlroy tonight. Ian Carter speaking to Rory McIlroy. If you spin back on the BBC Sounds app, you'll hear that round about, I think it was 7:35. Rory McIlroy in fine form. Champions dinner at Augusta tonight, Matt.
That sounded good.
Sticky toffee pudding. It's actually not my favourite. Not that keen on sticky toffee.
Really?
No, I'm not. As the ball is passed out. Madueke now gets it back. That was given away, but they've got two men on him. And then Madueke goes down. I'm not sure the referee's going to give that as a free kick. Yeah, Maxi Araujo is pointing at Madueke as if to say, look at him. And it's a goal kick, not a free kick.
I think the referee's spot on, though, don't you?
Yeah.
He just literally was waiting for the contact, Madueke. I mean, he knew it was coming, because it's always coming when Araujo's around, but he doesn't really commit into the challenge, and Madueke's legs just crumble from underneath him, takes a little bit of a knock on the knee and overplays it, really. It's silly, because you don't want the referee to think that, because there may well be a genuine foul in a couple of minutes' time that you want to win, but if you're going to go down too easily, you've got less chance of getting it.
Sporting take the free kick, but it comes right back at them. Odegaard, though, trying to sort of flick the ball over his own head. Actually knocks it forward where it is kept in play next to the corner flag. There's actually a massive piece of TV equipment which is just blocking that area.
Constantly bobbing and weaving around it.
Apart from that, it's a brilliant position, brilliant view in what is a fine stadium. It's not as good as the Estadio da Luz, not far away from here, the Benfica ground, which is one of my very favourites. But down there on the pitch, Sporting with the ball, and the Sporting songs strike up again. So 0-0 here. What about Real Madrid, Bayern Munich? Maz Farouki?
Still goalless here. Big chance for Bayern, though. Real in all sorts of bother, trying to play out very casually back to their keeper. Almost pounced on by Gnabry, instead scrambled out for a corner. Real, though, forcing a hat-trick of really good saves from Neuer at the other end. So this one really open, really enjoyable. Still Real 0, Bayern 0.
And the second legs of these ties are next week, as Ben White, Saliba, I beg his pardon, comes out with the ball on the halfway line and plays it back to Raya, who's well outside of his penalty area, sweeping it downfield to the other goalkeeper. I do love it at this stage of the season, when you get into the knockout matches and you have the ties one week, midweek, then the next midweek.
Yeah, it's so close, aren't they? And you kind of, it flows right into the second leg, which is great. Declan Rice is having a go at David Raya for kicking the ball on.
Inacio, long pass from him, and then Maxi Araujo. I think he was aware of the run that was being made into the penalty area, but wasn't able to execute, and as a result, actually, the touch he had just took it through to Raya.
Yeah, he just wanted to punch it first time with his left foot as it comes over his shoulder. He wants to cross it first time on the volley, just gets it wrong.
And so Arsenal attack. Madueke looking to cross from the right. I thought that came off Maxi Araujo. It did. Flicked the shins. That took it behind. It's a corner to Arsenal from the right.
Yeah, spun up in the air, just landed on the roof of the net behind the goal. But I mean, he's up the pitch 1 second, and then you blink, and he's back defending the Sporting left back. He's been such a feature of the opening part of this game.
Yeah, Maxi Araujo, who, remember when Manchester City came here last season, when Amorim was still in charge, and he beat City 4-1, and Maxi Araujo scored one of the goals in that match. Also scored in the last Champions League match here against Buda Glimt in that extra time when it was eventually decided. So the corner again, we see Gabriel right on the back post, standing behind the goalkeeper as a defender in between Gabriel and the goalkeeper. In it comes from Madueke, attempted flick at near post by White. He didn't actually, I don't think, make contact with it. The goalkeeper was able to block it behind him, and in any case, the referee blew his whistle for a foul.
For what? I didn't quite see.
Well, it could be anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's hot on this. You can see the German referee is having none of it. He's not having the shenanigans in the box. Oh, I don't see too much of a foul, but...
Well, it was actually it was Luis Suarez who was standing in front of the goalkeeper who headed it down and away for Sporting. Yeah. But you're right, the referee, Daniel Siebert, has very much clamped down on Arsenal attacking the set piece. And I think that could be a theme here, as Luis Suarez feels that he should have won a free kick on the halfway line. The referee's not giving that as a foul either. And certainly the German referee looks as though he's going to be strong tonight in all areas of the field, but certainly...
Yeah. It looks like he's got a lot of purpose when the corner's been set up. He is really keeping a keen eye. And you have to, because let's face it, Arsenal's movement in and around the goalkeeper, it's right borderline all the time, isn't it? It's on the edge of a foul.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0, here in Lisbon, just north of the city centre. And what's been a grey, windy damp day here. I think they've had the warmest day of the year at home.
Yeah.
It's not like that here on the Atlantic coast at all.
I brought my shorts as well, John. They've stayed in the case, mate.
Yeah, I was quite taken by the fact as Odegaard receives the ball, sets off goalwards, but lots of green and white hoops behind him and in front of him, so has to play it out to the right-hand side. And then Ben White, he gets it back, no timber. Calafiori's in the box on the right-hand side, and with his right foot overhits it. And Declan Rice will do well to keep it in over there on the far side, which he does though. So Rice running it back more centrally and giving it to Trossard, who will pass it to his right to Saliba, and now Ben White again. This is on the right flank for Arsenal. Adweke infield for Gyökeres, who I think was caught by Morita. Yes, that is given as a free kick and a yellow card for Morita. First booking of the match. He's still on his knees, the Japanese midfielder, and looks like he can't believe it.
Well, I don't think he can believe it's a foul. And then when the referee comes over with the yellow card in his hand, he's even more in disbelief. And he's still making his point to Trossard. He's not happy. I mean, it looked like he won a piece of the ball. I mean, it was a committed tackle from Morita, who has started very well. And if I look at the slow-motion picture, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that tackle. Toes the ball away, and then the follow-through.
It's the scything,
it's absolutely
motion,
fine,
isn't it? Because he slides through, and Trossard is caught between his legs.
It's absolutely fine in my view. I think that's just the nature.
A yellow card.
It's ridiculous. It's not a foul. It's not a foul. You win the ball.
I can see why he's given.
And you clatter into someone. That's football. That's a tackle. You know, he's not endangered anyone. It wasn't like high or with real kind of force or momentum or straight leg. It's just a tackle. To book him is crazy.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. Still Real Madrid 0, Bayern Munich 0. Southampton winning 2-0 at Wrexham. Free kick then. Rice to take it. Left arm raised. Right-footed to the back post. There's no one there in an Arsenal shirt. Comes off a Sporting head with 2 or 3 of them. And it rolls out of play on the far side. Another goal at Wrexham. Sani Radravajala.
And Wrexham are right back in it. Southampton pegged back. Wrexham 1, Southampton 2. Lovely flick on by Kiefer Moore, like he always does, and it's managed to be stabbed home. It's Josh Windass on the end of that one. Wrexham 1, Southampton 2.
Thank you, Sani. Very much enjoyed my visit to Wrexham this season for the Chelsea Cup tie. Here in Lisbon, 0-0, but Arsenal with a long throw. Calafiori to take it. A high looping one. Attempted flick on, but the referee's given a free kick against Arsenal. And or has he given it for a foul throw?
Yeah,
he has. Well, there's a collector's item.
Yeah,
foul throw.
He's hot on the set plays, isn't he?
Yeah.
Referee's not letting anything slide.
Foul throw is not a collector's item, but for the referee to actually pick up on a foul throw is the collector's item.
And it was the referee, not the
assistant,
wasn't it?
Yeah. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. And the ball from the throw, the resulting throw, actually deflected out of play for the throw into Arsenal on the far side. That Calafiori will take, so he'll have to be careful here. I presume he stepped onto the pitch.
I assume so. I mean, it's a good spot from the referee if you've seen it from his position in the middle of the pitch.
Gyökeres flicks it to Trossard, down in the full-back position. And Trossard over on the left flank. There's a suggestion here that Luis Suarez received a yellow card in the aftermath of that for something. So if Luis Suarez has been booked, that means that Sporting's top scorer is out of the second leg, suspended. I have to say, I did not see that yellow card.
No,
we'll check that on the UEFA site and just to confirm it, because that is highly significant.
Yeah, I think one thing we can confirm is that referee's not going to be shy in giving out the yellow cards.
And yes, it does say on the Champions League website, it does say Luis Suarez, or does it? Well, let's double check that.
Yeah, let's confirm that. But yeah, the referee's very quick to brandish the yellow from what I've seen so far in this game, with just over half an hour in.
Well, Morita's been yellow card.
Yeah, for a tackle.
Yeah, and we need to establish whether Luis Suarez has or not. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. Still 0-0 in the Bernabeu as well, as Ben White does very well pushing forward from right back to win the ball. Madueke's in a challenge and then bounces away back for Arsenal, and Zubamendi gets there first ahead of Trincao. Arsenal again turn and set off forward with Zubamendi. Plays the ball through the inside left position. Calafiori's chasing after it, but Diomande has been able to see it all the way through for a goal kick. And it's 0-0 with 10 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, not really creating too much in open play, Arsenal, are they? In those wide areas, I think that's a place that they just haven't been as productive in the last couple of months. Just those little kind of triangles and 1-2s that they would play, and then get runners into the box and shots off or to the byline, cut the ball back. They're just not really cutting Sporting open like they would like to be.
Well, that's a poor pass away from the captain, Inacio. He's given it to Declan Rice. But then Arsenal can't capitalise with Zubamendi, and Sporting again pass it away and give it away to Declan Rice. Odegaard, he's challenged, good challenge, shoulder to shoulder with Maxi Araujo, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Sporting, level with the edge of their own penalty area. Apparently, on the website, when I saw it, I got a glimpse of it. On the website, it did say that Luis Suarez had been booked, but it has been removed. That's disappeared.
Right.
So we will try and establish that. Maybe that's the magic of the Alvalade.
Well, the thing is,
disappearing yellow cards.
I can't think of anything that I saw as to why a Sporting player would be booked in that moment, though, John. Was that when the throw-in was
it was around about that point, yeah.
So it can only be dissent, because obviously it's got nothing to do with.
Yeah, but it was an Arsenal.
That's what I mean. It's
throw.
Nothing to do with Sporting.
Arsenal were picked up.
That's right. That's right. So I can't see where he could have possibly got, or why he would have got a yellow card.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. Wrexham 1, Southampton 2. Another goal at Bromley. Aaron Paul.
Yeah, Bromley have a leveller here. It is courtesy of Marcus Eiffel. Will Honderman with the ball just knocking on, and Eiffel able to hook the ball over his head and steer it in at the far post. Bromley 1, Shrewsbury 1.
Sporting coming forward. It's with Morita, who is the one man who has definitely been booked. I think it might have just started raining again. It has. It's been very, very wet here over the course of the last month or so, they were telling me. Back to Diomande on the halfway line, and with this being such a coastal position on the North Atlantic coast, you know, when the rain comes in, it can be absolutely torrential in Lisbon. Long pass forward from Inacio down into the full-back position. Luis Suarez tangling, and then it's played back to Raya, who had to be very, very quick there. As Trincao was closing down on him, Raya just got there and stabbed it away out for a throw.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Suarez did well there as well to get his body in. I mean, there's not many people you see physically get the better of Saliba once that ball goes into the box. Saliba had got the edge on him, and then for somehow Suarez just manoeuvred his body and won the ball off him.
Sporting in possession, but the first goal of these Champions League quarter-finals has been scored, Maz Farouki, by...
It's been scored by Bayern, John. Scored by Luis Diaz. Lovely finish, stroking it in with his right foot, and it was a beautifully weighted through ball to him from Serge Gnabry. Bayern, I think, on balance deserve this, and they are ahead at the Bernabeu. Real 0, Bayern 1.
Samoes plays the ball out to the right-hand side. Sporting putting pressure on the Arsenal defence. Still 0-0 here in the Alvalade. Arsenal scrape it away, Calafiori, but Sporting have got it back. And here they come again, through the middle with Fresneda. The pass to Catamo on the right-hand side, in the full-back position. Declan Rice is there with him. And Arsenal now have got everyone back in their own defensive third, including Gyökeres. And a shot from distance from Diomande, the central defender on his left foot, flies away well wide. And harmlessly from an Arsenal point of view, goalless.
I'll tell you what, he's not shy in trying something, is he? The centre-back, Diomande. I mean, he's come into the team and he's had a massive influence on this game as well. He made that unbelievable outside of the boot pass. He's tried to hit one left-footed there into the top corner. I mean, he's not shy in trying things. I really like the way he started this game.
Half-time in the match between Port Vale and Rotherham, both in the relegation zone in League One. David Canaan.
Yes, and it's the bottom place side that leads at the half. Ryan Crowsday's early goal, the only spark, volleying home from the edge of the area after only 6 minutes. Both sides struggling really to get any type of flow on a tricky pitch. At the half, it's Port Vale 1, Rotherham 0.
Arsenal coming forward with Ben White, his cross rather acrobatically caught by goalkeeper Rui Silva, who threw himself out of the 6-yard box and caught it with both hands. So 0-0. And Sporting start again with 5 minutes of the first half to play. So Bayern Munich winning 1-0. Here's Fresneda, who's got space on the right flank for Sporting, up against Calafiori, who's retreating into the box now. And as he tried to play it across, Fresneda, Calafiori, as he fell to ground, was able to get a foot to it, and the rebound fell to Arsenal. It's not been much in it, has there, Matt?
No, there hasn't, but Sporting just look like they've got a little bit more edge to them in open play than Arsenal. Arsenal have looked good on set plays and dead ball situations, but some of the football Sporting are playing the switch of play, and they're just getting in those wide areas. Arsenal look a little bit more open, I would say, when they do break on them, and Sporting dropping back to defend well, going man for man a lot of the time. Full-backs going all the way in with the wide players, and both wide players dropping back into filling. Catamo and Pote are dropping in and really helping out defensively. It's a big effort from the Sporting team at the moment.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. Sporting, who've never been beyond this stage of this competition. In actual fact, this is the 10th quarter-final in the European Cup or Champions League between Portuguese and English clubs. And English clubs have won all previous 9 between teams from Portugal and teams from England in the quarter-finals of this competition. But this is new history, and the second leg next week in London on Wednesday night. You'll hear that with us tomorrow night as well. Commentary on the first leg of PSG against Liverpool. And we'll hear from Paris at half-time, as well as from Matt Fitzpatrick, so that's not too far away. 4 minutes of the first half to play. Sporting hit the crossbar with that shot from Maxi Araujo, but also Arsenal did similarly with Madueke's corner, which hit the top of the bar. And here is Madueke. In fact, it bounces for Odegaard, who shoots low, but Roussel's able to drop down to his left and make the catch.
Yeah, didn't quite get the contact he wanted there, Martin Odegaard. Gets onto the loose ball really well, and he's just driving at goal. The ball's bouncing, it's on his right foot. Gets a decent hit, but not a clean contact. Always under pressure from Simoes in midfield, who's actually had a really good game coming in the team for the captain, Humland. He's paired in there with Morita, and he's actually done really well, the youngster. He's looking good at the moment.
Yes, one of the, I mean, it's famous, isn't it? The Sporting Academy, the players that it's produced and the money that it's made for his club. Not least Luis Figo and Cristiano Ronaldo, 2 of the products. Ball played forward from Diomande, again from the back. Arsenal only just were able to cut that out. Calafiori now centrally with Pote. He gets it back again, the number 8. A very effective 15 goals scored by him this season. 33 for Luis Suarez, 15 for Pote, and 12 for Trincao. And Sporting have the ball with the captain, Inacio, who passes it here down the left-hand side to Maxi Araujo. And then back to Inacio, the Portuguese international, left-sided central defender, Gonçalo Inacio, another scorer in the last Champions League match here against the Norwegians. Sporting played to Luis Suarez on the edge of the penalty area, and Catamon very nearly was able to latch onto that and take it into the box. Arsenal managed to defend it, clear it away towards the halfway line. Sporting again. It really has had the feel of a first leg of a big European tie, this. Out to the right-hand side. And already at half-time in the Bernabeu, Maz Farouki.
Yes, and Bayern have the edge in this battle, this bout of these two European heavyweights, slugging it out. That lovely, deft, beautiful goal as well from Luis Diaz. The through ball from Serge Gnabry, lovely as well. And Bayern lead at half-time. Real 0, Bayern 1.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0 in the last minute of the first 45. Just keep an eye out for the fourth official. Just have to shuffle forward to see over the top of the front of the desk as Arsenal play it forward to Rice. Be a great time to score the opening goal of the tie this. Rice taking it down the flank, cuts in field, still on his right foot. He's being chased there by Fresneda. Rice passes it centrally, and shot from Trossard from probably best part of 30 yards is blocked at source, and then Sporting hit it away downfield, and Raya will most definitely get there first for Arsenal and passes it to the halfway line, where Rice gets the last touch of the first half. He had the first, he kicked the match off, and the last touch was Declan Rice's too. It looks as though he's feeling a little bit, coming back into action, just putting his hands on his hips after that last sprint for the ball. But there we are, 0-0 after the first half of this quarter-final, Matt Upson, and the referee just having to step in between a couple of the players out there. Gabriel getting involved, and it's still going on, but the referee is just talking to Gabriel as the players head towards the tunnel. Anyway, first half.
Yeah, I think Tom, our Portuguese football expert who came on before, said about the Arsenal by Leverkusen game, thought it was going to be a cagey, tightish affair, and I think he's kind of right, John, to be honest. It's not really been open flowing football, has it? And I think it does have that feel of a big game. Both teams know what the stakes are, and Sporting having a go and having those moments where they really go at Arsenal, but it's been relatively cagey and a little bit reserved, I would say. Neither team really getting the upper hand. It's very even at the moment.
And also, our producer, George Cummins, has actually gone to UEFA here inside the stadium and asked, and they have confirmed that Luis Suarez has not been booked. Right, so that is that. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0 here in Lisbon at half-time.
John Murray, Matthew Upson, thank you very much. We'll be back with you for the second half in Lisbon. The significance of Luis Suarez not being booked in that game means that he is still available then for the return leg at the Emirates. Andros Townsend is also with us. Andros, that's been a pretty enjoyable first half.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable, especially from an Arsenal point of view. I think they had two occasions where Ben White was caught out of position and Araujo managed to get in behind him, but in the whole, Arsenal did very well, kept the ball very well. Madueke very dangerous on the right-hand side. When they didn't have the ball, they pressed it very well. They forced Sporting Lisbon into turnovers, forced them to go long into Arsenal's strength. So, apart from the last 5-10 minutes, in the first 5-10 minutes, it's been very comfortable first half for Arsenal.
Andros, for now, thank you very much. Let's find out what's been happening at Bromley, where it's half-time in League Two between Bromley and Shrewsbury Town.
Absolutely, Bromley 1, Shrewsbury 1, all square at the break with so much on the line for both sides. A really smart finish from Bradley Ihonvien put the visitors ahead, with Marcus Eiffel scrambling home an equaliser with just 7 to the break. A win here, Kelly, sees Shrewsbury safe in League Two, and Bromley just one more win away from promotion. But at the break, it's all level. Bromley 1, Shrewsbury 1.
Thank you very much to Aaron Paul. Watching Wrexham against Southampton in the Championship is some game. Sani Rajavajula.
Yeah, Wrexham 1, Southampton 2, and Wrexham are lucky to still be in this, really. An onslaught from Southampton early on. After just 8 minutes, it hit the bar twice. Larin's looping header, and then Finn Azaz on the rebound, 3 yards out, heading onto the bar. But it was he who fed in Karayu Matsuki just 5 minutes later. Matsuki unmarked, lovely turn and finish from him. And 10 minutes later, Flynn Downs' his turn to be unmarked. A free kick, second ball. He ran onto it and hit it in, and it looked like Southampton were going to score a load. But a flick on, perhaps a foul in there from Kiefer Moore, big target man. Windass ran onto that one and managed to finish off. And Nathan Broadhead hit the post early as well. So at the break, it's Wrexham 1, Southampton 2.
And in League One, it's Port Vale 1, Rotherham 0 at half-time. We're going to look ahead to PSG against Liverpool in the Champions League tomorrow night next. And we'll hear from Matt Fitzpatrick in Augusta for the Masters very shortly. First, though, the BBC News with Bethan Holmes.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
President Trump's threatened a whole civilization will die tonight unless Iran agrees to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The US president's deadline is just over 4 hours away. If the Iranian leadership don't meet that, he says the country's entire civilian infrastructure of bridges and power plants will be destroyed. Our security correspondent is Frank Gardner.
This is an avoidable situation. Iran does not respond well to ultimatums and threats. If it feels backed into a corner, it decides that it's got to be defiant. It does not want to show weakness, and of course Donald Trump doesn't want to show weakness, and then you get dragged into the next cycle, the escalatory cycle. So I'm pretty pessimistic about tonight.
In the last half hour, Pakistan's Prime Minister, who's been mediating between the two sides, has urged Donald Trump to extend his deadline for 2 weeks. Now, while the current deadline expires at 1 a.m. UK time, Israel says it has attacked railways and bridges in Iran, which it claims were being used to transfer weapons and military equipment. Tony Livesey will have the very latest on this from 10:30 tonight. Now, elsewhere, Wireless Festival has been cancelled after the Home Office refused the headliner, Kanye West, entry to the UK. There's been growing anger about his appearance because of his anti-Semitic comments over the years. The rapper had apologised and blamed his bipolar disorder. And an unnamed star from Strictly Come Dancing, who was arrested on suspicion of rape last year, will not face criminal charges. The man's identity has never been made public. Hertfordshire Police consulted the Crown Prosecution Service and decided there was insufficient evidence to proceed.
On BBC iPlayer, they're on a journey into the unknown.
On the race, we're definitely going to use our Scouse charm.
A race of more than 12,000 kilometres.
You've got to give it all to win.
Margot.
What? Yay! Show a leg!
The further they go...
Where are we going?
I have no idea.
The closer they'll get.
Let's get in there and sign that book.
Brand new Race Across the World.
I don't think this place exists.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Kelly Cates.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
And our Champions League commentary comes to you from Lisbon this evening, where it's currently Sporting 0, Arsenal 0 at half-time in their Champions League quarter-final first leg. We'll go back there for second-half commentary very shortly. Now, though, we're going to head back to Augusta. The Masters starts on Thursday, and there's commentary of all 4 days across 5 Live. Starts at 8 o'clock on Thursday on 5 Sports Extra. Matt Fitzpatrick, one of the form players going into the tournament, but he's not getting ahead of himself.
Game feels in a good spot, but you know it doesn't mean anything unless you go out and do it. So I'm just looking forward to seeing what I can do really, and obviously being confident is more of a breath of fresh air coming here than kind of hope, I guess. I feel like previous years it's like hope to play well. I feel like I've kind of backed that up so far this year, which is really nice, and just giving myself that belief that I can play well.
It feels to me like you've ticked 2 really big boxes. One, you know, being in the thick of a massive event at the Players. OK, you didn't win that, but then the next week getting over the line at the Valspar.
Definitely. I mean, as many times as you can do that in your golf career, the better anyway. It's always been about doing that as much as you can to get that experience and see how you fare in it and see whether your game can withstand that, you know. And I feel like those 2 weeks in particular, obviously, you know, it did, and felt like I did a lot of the right things. Just few putts didn't drop over the weekend on both of those, and could have been obviously a different story.
Your approach play is the big thing as well when you look at it statistically, and that is such an important category of golf at a Masters, isn't it? So that must give you a great heart.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a really big turnaround from last year and positive. So, you know, I'm obviously delighted to be in that shape, to be able to hit those shots right now. And, you know, these next few days, just about learning the golf course a little bit more and trying to see where I'm at and use that to my advantage.
That was world number 6, Matt Fitzpatrick, speaking to Ian Carter, who we heard from earlier on 5 Live. James Gregg is also in Augusta and part of our 5 Live golf team. James, Matt Fitzpatrick in really good form. He won a couple of weeks ago on the PGA Tour, but the week before, he let that lead slip at the Players' Championship. So how do you rate his chances?
Well, good evening to you, Kelly. I think quite highly, sneakily, and that is in complete contrast to 12 months ago, where he was arriving in, you know, a bit of a kind of flux state of his career for the first time in, you know, what's been a very, very good career, where he's played, you know, in 4 Ryder Cup teams and, you know, won a major championship and been kind of one of that, you know, very top rung of European players to kind of come over here and be talked about as a contender. I think that, you know, being able to win a tournament after coming up just short the week before might be the best thing that could actually happen to Fitzpatrick, because rather than focusing on the things that led to him coming up short, he has done what we all try to do in life, let alone sports people, week to week, and that's actually kind of leaning into the positive aspects of all the stuff that there is to be positive about, and then go out and win, you know, on the PGA Tour no less, which is just the 3rd time that he's actually managed to do that. So that's a really nice thing to kind of have tucked away in the back pocket coming into this week. A major, by the way, that he has done really well at. It's, you know, a tournament he's never actually missed the weekend at as a professional. 10 straight cuts he's made here at Augusta, which is a really impressive feat. And, you know, probably growing a little bit more in comfortability in these surroundings now that, you know, he's proven himself in the Ryder Cup, remember, just, you know, a few months ago. So I think he comes into the week in a really good spot, Kelly.
As you said, he really enjoys the tournament. Everybody loves to play at Augusta, but is it because his game suits the course, or the course suits his game?
He was really good in the press conference on this. You know, I've heard a lot of Matt Fitzpatrick talking about his game, and this was a really introspective bit that he talked about. He said because at the major championships, players have to play a little bit more conservatively than normal. You know, 4 weeks a year, you have to rein it in a bit. He said, I rein it in, you know, all year round, so I don't have to adjust my game that much when I arrive at the Masters, whereas for some of the more aggressive players, they've got to kind of go down a gear, whereas for me, I'm just staying in the same gear that I'm in all year round. I thought that was a really good bit of introspective kind of psychology. So that's probably a lot to do with it. And I think, as Ian kind of alluded to in the interview, his incredible approach play, you know, the numbers are there for us all to see, us stats geeks. I won't bore listeners with it tonight. We've got enough of that over the course of this week at Augusta. But in short,
feed it to us over the course of the week.
Exactly, before you all drop to sleep on Sunday night. I think, look, he is, you know, statistically looking very, very good from tee to green. And if he can marry up his putting, which is traditionally a brilliant part of his game, with that great long game, yeah, he's going to be a dangerous player actually this week.
James, really looking forward to this. Love the Masters on the radio. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the week. Commentary from Augusta National across all 4 days starts at 8 o'clock on Thursday on Sports Extra. The Champions League action continues on Wednesday night. We're bringing you commentary of Paris Saint-Germain against Liverpool in the Champions League quarter-final first leg. That kicks off at 8 o'clock. And we could bring in our commentary team for that game. Ian Dennis and former England goalkeeper Paul Robinson among the Parisian locals, where he's known as Denis. Probably not having quite the same dinner as Rory McIlroy at the Champions dinner at Augusta this evening. Did you hear he's got Wagyu beef and elk and all kinds of things over there?
Well, at the minute, Lady Kelly, we haven't had anything. You know, this is the commitment to the cause.
Playing a tiny violin for you.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'll get producer Gary to order that.
If he could get you the elk, that would be very helpful. Listen, Ian, we've talked a lot, obviously, ahead of tonight's game in Lisbon about what tonight means to Arsenal and how important it is to them, because they've had a little wobble and lost a couple of games in cup competitions. But Liverpool are in even greater need of rescuing something from their season. It is some test they've got ahead of them.
Absolutely it is. And also, I think, not only is it a test for Liverpool, but I think it could be defining for the manager Arne Slot, who is becoming under increasing pressure, especially after their capitulation at the weekend against Manchester City. And, you know, I mean, there were some worrying comments there about from the captain Virgil van Dijk we gave up. Szoboszlai was also critical as well, saying the mentality wasn't there enough. And I just think that they're going to go into a game against a Paris Saint-Germain side who've won their last 4 matches, and they are going to face a really intense Paris Saint-Germain side. And it was funny that Arne Slot earlier today said that at the weekend we didn't deserve to lose 4-0, but we did deserve to lose 4-0 in the corresponding fixture when they met here in the last 16 last season. And the worry is, I think, for a lot of Liverpool supporters, they're going to travel with a lot of trepidation, is that what happens if Paris Saint-Germain score first. And they do have a habit of scoring at home. You know, will goals 2, 3 and 4 follow, as they did for that 20-minute period at the weekend?
Well, Ian, as you said, Virgil van Dijk suggested that Liverpool had given up in that game. Florian Wirtz said earlier he wasn't aware of Van Dijk's comments and that he doesn't agree with his captain.
I didn't know about this, that he said this. But I think, yeah, I would not agree directly because, yeah, we still try to create chances to turn the game around. Of course, when the game gets longer and yeah, it's like in the 80th minute or something and you are 3-0 back, then it's yeah, mentally also difficult to go. And yeah, we just try to give our best in the game. Also when it was 3-0 or 4-0, I think we had also still a few chances then.
Paul, Florian Wirtz disagreeing with Virgil van Dijk and saying that they were still creating chances late on into the game. But maybe it's no surprise that he and a central defender have a different opinion, because Liverpool have let in 18 goals in the final 20 minutes of league games. That's 2 more than any other team. So the perspective is going to be different, because that's clearly where the issue is. So if it's not about giving up, what is it?
Well, I think you listen to what the captain has said, and I think when he uses those type of words, you could see him actually. When I watched the game against Manchester City, he was actually striding into midfield. He was trying to instigate the press, you know, that what they'd been told to do, he didn't feel that other players in and around him were doing. I don't think that this is a game that Liverpool need at the moment. I think they're playing against a very, very good Paris Saint-Germain side. Luis Enrique, at the risk of using a horse racing analogy, he's a very good jockey. He produces his horse at the right time in the race. And actually, PSG are a very, very difficult team to play against. And for Liverpool, now, if they're not pressing, and Virgil van Dijk's turned around and said, you know, we've lost that, it's very, very difficult for them to come here against a team that will press high. They will try and win the ball in the final third. They'll look to you know... It's a very, very difficult game for Liverpool, in all honesty. And the unharmony in the dressing room is apparent at the moment.
That, of course, is tomorrow night on 5 Live. This evening, Real Madrid are taking on Bayern Munich, and there's been a goal, Maz Farouki.
It's been scored in the opening minute of the second half, a second for Bayern, and it's Harry Kane, a shot edge of the Real area, rifled it in. The goalkeeper couldn't get there, and Bayern have a 2-goal lead at the Bernabeu. Real 0, Bayern 2.
Maz, thank you very much. Thank you very much as well to Paul and to Ian out in Paris. Maybe they can get something to eat now. Meanwhile, the second half is about to get underway in Lisbon. It's Sporting against Arsenal. No goals as yet in this Champions League quarter-final first leg. Taking you through the second half, Matthew Upson and John Murray.
Yes, thank you, Kelly. Welcome back to Lisbon, everyone, inside this great big green stadium, very close to the Lisbon airport, just next to the inner ring road. And down there on the pitch, the Arsenal players going into a huddle after a first half here, a goalless first half, and we've seen it at half-time, Matt, the shot that Maxi Araujo hit that struck the crossbar, David Raya got his fingertips to it, yes, saved it.
Yes, he did. We didn't give him any credit for that at the time. It's very hard to spot. It's only when you kind of looked at all the slow motion angles, you can just see a tiny touch of the fingertips of his glove that may have just put it onto the middle of the bar as opposed to the underside of the bar. I mean, it was a tiny touch, but possibly an important one.
Yeah, one of the biggest hands in football, proving his worth again.
Came in handy there, didn't it?
It did. And the referee blows the whistle and the second half begins. Sporting kick-off, no changes at half-time. So Sporting with goalkeeper Rui Silva, a back four of Fresneda, Diomande, Inacio and Araujo, Maxi Araujo. And then Simoes, the teenager, with the Japanese international Morita, Francisco Trincao as Sporting attack down the left-hand side, and Ben White blocks it out, the cross from Maxi Araujo for a first corner of the match to Sporting, who, to complete their lineup, have Jenny Catamo on the right, Pote on the left, and Luis Suarez through the middle, although actually Pote has been playing quite centrally. But here is the corner, first corner for Sporting in the first minute of the second half. And David Raya trying to just push away. I think it's Fresneda who's next to him. Right-footed delivery from the far side into the near post, which is headed up and away. I think it was Zubimendi who got there for Arsenal to clear the danger. Sporting in the green and white hooped shirts. Actually, they've got white panels on the back, so it's almost only green and white hoops on the front. Green and white hoops, socks, and the black shorts. And Sporting with Catamo. And now Luis Suarez, who's dropped out of the penalty area, then deflected back into the box to Catamo, who was in an offside position, and it's a free kick to Arsenal. And again, just to confirm, if you were listening but didn't hear us in the first half, Luis Suarez was not yellow carded. That was, we think it was an error with the captioning for whoever's doing the TV pictures tonight. So it confirms that Luis Suarez has not been yellow carded, which means that he is free to play in the second leg.
So it wasn't the magic then?
It wasn't the magic, no. But it did actually get onto the UEFA website briefly.
Well, it's quite magical, isn't it?
It is. 2 minutes played in the second half. That is Matt Upson, former Arsenal and England central defender, played in the Champions League, and we're watching Arsenal in possession. In the second half, as we look at it from way up high here on the dressing room side of the ground, Arsenal playing from right to left. And the Arsenal supporters high up in the stands, in the top tier behind the goal to the left, so Arsenal attacking towards the end where their own supporters are. In good voice, Odegaard, left-footed ball, Diamante, he is able to volley that away, and then Catamo hits it up in the air and out of play for a throw that Calafiori takes quickly. Odegaard back to Calafiori, and then in comes the challenge on him, and it's out of play for another throw to Arsenal. But Trossard is actually going to take this time, or is he going to leave it to Calafiori? He is. So we've got a chance to go back to League Two, and Aaron Paul.
Bromley 2, Shrewsbury 1. Lightning quick start to start the second half for Andy Woodman's side, and Kyle Cameron has stabbed the ball in from the edge of the box to put them 2-1 up and to within one win of promotion to League One. Bromley 2, Shrewsbury 1.
Still Wrexham 1, Southampton 2, Port Vale 1, Rotherham 0. Bayern Munich now 2-0 up. Harry Kane scoring in front of Thomas Tuchel, who's in the Bernabeu tonight. And Bayern, it would appear, in a very strong position in that tie. That is something of an upset, isn't it, really? The record winners, Real Madrid, you know, they very often come up with magic in the Bernabeu, don't they, in the Champions League?
They do, but, I mean, Bayern Munich, well-organised team, aren't they? I know it's an upset because it's there, but it's not really that much of an upset for me.
I think that's now 49 goals, isn't it, for Harry Kane this season? Yeah. And if you add together his England goals, here's Trossard cutting in from the left-hand side. Oh, mishits the shot. He actually found some space there, Trossard, but snatched at it and dragged it horribly wide, really, by 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's probably one of the first times he has found that kind of space. Not many player on the pitch has found any kind of shooting space so far this evening from around the edge of the box. Both teams defending pretty well, getting nice and close, but it just opens up for Trossard on his right foot, driving parallel inside the pitch, and tries to pull it in towards the near post, but just drags it well wide.
So it stays Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. Yes, Harry Kane well into the 50s now this season, if you add his England goals that he scored during this campaign. The best goal-scoring season of his career. Throw in for Sporting against Arsenal. Sporting, the Portuguese champions, against Arsenal, the leaders of the Premier League. Catamo down the right, on the right wing. He's got Fresneda going with him, but the Mozambique international cuts back onto his left foot and plays it back into the centre circle, where Gonzalo Ignacio hits a left-footed pass. Oh, and he almost delivered it into the path of Catamo, who slid after it, couldn't get a touch, and it's all the way through for goal kick.
The long passing from both Sporting centre-backs this evening has been top class. It really has. I mean, we saw a magnificent ball from Diamante in the first half. That one there from Niasso, the captain, with his left foot, was nearly absolutely spot, drilled it, didn't he? Lovely height, just fizzed it right into the area, probably about half a yard in front of Catamo.
0-0. Arsenal with Gabriel past fit to play tonight. So Rice, Trossard, Gabriel, David Raya all back tonight for Arsenal. Havertz on the bench this evening. Suspect we might see him in the second half. Downman's on the bench, Matt.
Yeah.
If you were Max Downman, the way he played against Southampton, maybe feel a little bit disappointed, wouldn't he, not to get a chance tonight?
I think they have to take into account his probably age and just building the exposure to the team. But yes, if he wasn't 16 and he'd played like that, he probably had a good chance of starting tonight, maybe.
He would. As Sporting win a free kick down in their own right-back position for a foul on Catamol.
Is that one of the biggest, longest technical areas you've ever seen?
It is.
That's half the length of the half.
That is excellent for Mikel Arteta, isn't it?
Well, that's perfect for him, isn't it?
Yeah, but even so, while you say that, he's actually outside it, Mikel Arteta.
On the touchline. He's actually on the... well, the fourth official's now gone out.
That must be longer than the length of a cricket pitch.
He's just had to... How many times does the fourth official go and ask him to...
It's a long walk for the fourth official to get all the way down there. Yeah. Here's Madueke on the right-hand side, into the full-back position. Challenge comes in on him, it's a foul. Maxi Araujo doesn't like it, but I think he did just catch him on first sight anyway. But referee Siebert says, yep, free kick.
Yeah, there's been a lot of these kind of tackles between these pair. Not much in it, but the right foot, he likes the trailing leg tackle, Araujo. So as Madueke shifts to go one way and cuts inside, that right leg is sweeping to try and scoop the ball from going past him. And he misses the ball and just kicks straight into the side of Madueke, who goes down easily, but there certainly is the contact there for the foul.
He's got a brilliant line in innocent expressions, Maxi Araujo. He's produced them all tonight. Free kick though for Arsenal, good position this. Odegaard waiting to play it in. The Norwegian has his hands on his hips, thinking about it. Right, he's decided. He steps back 2 or 3 strides. Near the right corner of the box. Free kick comes in, and goalkeeper Rui Silva pushes it up and over the top of the crossbar. Just took no chances. Relatively straightforward for a goalkeeper at this level. Just pushed it over for a corner.
I think he had a little thought about catching it there, John, because there wasn't a lot of pace on the ball. It was like clipped in from Odegaard. It was right underneath the crossbar. All the Sporting players along the 6-yard box line. He just palms it over the bar.
Yeah, Rui Silva, the goalkeeper. I feel like I've commentated on about 50 Rui Silvas over the years.
Yeah.
Corner, then. So, Arsenal looking to do their thing. Madueke to play it in. Players rushing to the near post. Flick on by White. And it, I think, came off the defender behind him. Yep, referee says it's another corner. White got a glance, but the defender behind him was able to block it onto the roof of the net. I think it was Trincao with the magnificent moustache. It was.
Yeah, it was Trincao with the header. White tried to flick it, and had he just got a little touch on that, Ben White, that would have posed a real problem for Sporting, but it was just a fraction too high for him.
So another corner for Arsenal, looking to make these set pieces count. Sporting have dealt with them pretty well so far. Referee Siebert is right in there in the thick of the action as well, trying to see everything. Madueke waiting to take this. The crowd say, come on, get on with it. Left-footed from Madueke, headed down and away, and the clearance is completed on the edge of the box. And actually Raya, almost in the centre circle, the Arsenal goalkeeper, to head it away next to Catamol. Raya's got to get back in goal now. A Sporting break down the left. Trincao's on the ball, but Arsenal have been able to get back in numbers and actually did well there.
Well, it's actually a great starting position from David Raya, because I think Arsenal were in trouble on the counter.
Here's the cross from the left-hand side, but no one gets a touch, and it's all the way through for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a real warning shot, really, because as much in control as Arsenal may be with controlling the ball and the tempo of the game with the set plays in the opposition half, they do look to counter early, Sporting, and David Raya started almost in the centre circle D on the edge, and it's a good job he was there when he headed the ball, because I think he would have got the other side of the recovering defender from Arsenal.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. And it's not unlike Arsenal's tie in the last 16, is it, against Bayer Leverkusen? You were there in Germany, weren't you, for the first leg of that, when the Germans took the lead. Here is Trossard down the left-hand side. That's the only match in the Champions League this season that Arsenal haven't won. Cross from Trossard, goalkeeper went for it, didn't get there, but Madueke wasn't able to get to the loose ball, and Sporting have cleared it, and then there's a foul by Saliba, and the crowd here are are trying to put pressure on the referee, but I don't think he's going to do any more than give a free kick to Sporting for that one.
Yeah, he's punched his weight quite well, Luis Suarez, up front for Sporting, held the ball up nicely there, but the previous chance from Trossard, you know, it's nice to see him getting good deliveries into the box, a really good left-footed cross into the box, and he had the beating of the full-back in that area.
Sporting coming forward with Trincao, the former Wolves man. Square from him to Pote. Now out to the left-hand side. Maxi Araujo back to the edge of the area, and the shot left-footed across the face of goal and well wide. Didn't threaten Raya's goal, and it's behind for a goal kick. And the Sporting fans are on their feet here. They've spotted something that they're not very happy about, and it's because Catamo is down on the halfway line, and whether they feel that he was fouled there and that perhaps should have been a yellow card shown to Calafiori for his challenge on Catamo.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does catch him. It's not a yellow card, and the referee played on because Sporting won a promising attack and nearly scored, so it's a good decision from the referee in the end.
Yeah, and Luis Suarez with the shot across goal. The Colombian Luis Suarez, 28 years old. He was signed effectively to replace Victor Gyökeres. They got him for about half the price as well. Was playing in the second division in Spain for Almeria last season. Did well there, and he's doing well for Sporting now with the 33 goals that he scored. Was at Watford, Luis Suarez, for 3 years, but never actually made a senior competitive appearance. But he's certainly making a mark here in Portugal. And here is Catamo, down the right for Sporting. Takes on Calafiori, who does well. The Italian got back. The Arsenal left back, went to ground, put in the tackle, put it behind. Corner to Porto.
Yeah, but it's got the crowd up. It's got the crowd up, hasn't it? Really has. Getting behind their team. It's good play from Calafiori. Catamo just tries to knock it down the line and run, beating for pace, but he matches him and slides in with a tackle to give a corner away.
Pote is going to take this. Pedro Gonçalves. Pote, his nickname, the Portuguese international, right-footed outswinger. I think into the near post. Attempted block. The referee has blown his whistle. Attempted flick at the near post. I mean, there were players flying in all directions there, and the referee's given a free kick. So it remains 0-0 here in the José Alvalade. What about the Bernabeu? That match is being monitored by Maz Farouki.
Well, Real really on the ropes at the moment. The changes are being made as well. Jude Bellingham's about to come on, although Vinicius Junior here with a great opportunity to pull one back for Real, and he's put it wide. I don't know how he's missed the target. So Real in all sorts of bother at the moment, about to bring on the subs. And Bayern really on top at the moment. Elise is all over the place at the moment, bossing that midfield. Still Real 0, Bayern 2.
Yeah, they've fallen off in the league, haven't they? Barcelona are very much in charge there. And you know what that will mean for Alvaro Arbeloa, the coach? It doesn't take too much for a coach to come under pressure at Real Madrid, as Xabi Alonso well knows. Here's Odegaard. Odegaard for Arsenal, clips it into the penalty area. Calafiori worked it across. He's done well getting forward, Calafiori, whenever he can. And Arsenal again with it in their bluey-grey shirts with the red trim. Arsenal with Gabriel in the centre circle. Daniel Bragança is waiting to come on. He'll be the first substitute used by either coach here. Martin Odegaard starts off from the halfway line, then scoops the ball forward for Ben White, who flicks it out to Madueke, who in turn flicks it to Odegaard. Odegaard still just one goal this season for the Arsenal captain, who's missed various spells with various injuries. Back to Gabriel, middle of the half. Now Declan Rice is put under pressure here, and he's having to get himself out of trouble and take it back towards the halfway line, chased all the way there by Trincao, and that has served to actually whip up the crowd, who down in front of us here, many of them get up with their green and white scarves and swirl them around their heads. Rice back with it, and there you can hear the response as well from the Arsenal supporters urging their team on. Madueke, no Bukayo Saka yet for Arsenal. Gyökeres on the edge of the box. He's had a quiet night so far in his return to Sporting after his brilliant season last season. Gyökeres with the 54 goals that he scored in all competitions.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Although Harry Kane's matching that sort of total. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. back to Wrexham. Sani Rudravajala.
It's a huge goal, and it's come to Southampton. Wrexham 1, Southampton 3. Just as Wrexham are building it, they overplay at the back. Kyle Larin steals in. He steadies himself and finishes coolly. Wrexham 1, Southampton 3.
What a week for Southampton, who will play Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-finals. We'll should have the dates for those some point this week confirmed. And now we're going to see this first change to be made, and it is the teenager João Simões who is replaced by Daniel Bragança, another product of the Sporting Academy.
They put them in the team, John, don't they? They develop the players and they put them in the team, and I mean, he's done really well, Simões, to step into a game of this magnitude against the midfield that Arsenal have put out tonight, and he's coped, you know, he's done really well.
Just while that change is being made,
is Martin Odegaard all right down there, John?
There's an Arsenal, there's an Arsenal man down. I think Madueke is receiving some treatment over on the far side. And what have you spotted? Odegaard.
I think, is that Odegaard? It's Odegaard down, been receiving treatment
it's
for a while.
Madueke who was down, but kneeling down in front of Odegaard. It's Odegaard
he's been down a long time.
Well, he's got back to his feet and he'll have to leave the field. Not sure what the issue is, so we'll see if he's able to. It looks as though he is going to come back on. 3 Arsenal players. It's been almost like a timeout, that, hasn't it? Raya and Calafiori and Trossard all came across. Mikel Arteta had a word with them, and well, Odegaard going down means that Mikel Arteta's been able to get some instructions onto the pitch there. And I think he is thinking about perhaps making a change. So maybe that will be Odegaard, who's waiting to come back on. Ball played for Gyökeres in the box here, but well watched. Then the curling shot! Oh, it's in! Zubimendi! Right-footed from the edge of the D! Rui Silva diving to his left, couldn't get there, and Arsenal have the lead! They celebrate down in front of their supporters, all together. What a strike that was. Sporting 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, what a finish from Zubimendi, and a real kind of muted celebration almost. It was kind of like a weird pause when the ball hit the back of the net. I don't think anyone expected it to go in, and a bit of an eerie silence, but a brilliant goal. The ball was whipped into Gyökeres. It got fed back to Zubimendi on the edge of the D first time, and he smashes it in the corner, but the referee...
Oh, it's been ruled out.
Is it offside as he comes back in from the initial pass, I think, John?
VAR have had a look at this, and is there a suggestion that perhaps there was an Arsenal player in an offside position blocking the goalkeeper's view?
Wow.
Well,
it's
been given as offside. It's been ruled out for offside.
Because the ball goes into Gyökeres first. Now, whether or not there was a fraction of an offside there as he comes back out with it, and then it gets set back to Zubimendi for the finish, but did it seem like a muted celebration to you?
It did.
It was kind of like no one thought it was a goal. It was bizarre.
Well, it's ruled out for offside. That's a VAR decision, so it is still Sporting 0, Arsenal 0, and Martin Zubimendi's goal does not stand. So Arsenal briefly thought they had their noses in front.
Great finish though, wasn't it?
It was.
Super finish. First time with his right foot.
Right, now in our little screen here, we are being shown...
I think it's the first pass in,
Yeah, to Gyökeres. Yeah. In the build-up to the goal.
Yeah.
And it was Gyökeres who held it up inside the penalty area and then played it back to Zubimendi, who curled it brilliantly.
It's harsh.
It's a super finish.
It's a harsh offside, though, isn't it?
Well, it's offside.
Yeah. But as it's in that build-up and he's coming back, and it's probably half an inch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
But it is in the move.
Yeah. No, it's within the parameters, and if it is as it's... let the technology do it all, John. You know, it's all measured and verified, but it just feels quite a harsh offside to rule out a goal of that quality.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. 5 Live from the BBC. The TV highlights will be on the BBC tomorrow. So from 10 o'clock tomorrow, we will, on all of the various BBC platforms, be able to watch the highlights from all of these Champions League quarter-finals, and there will be a Champions League match of the day on BBC One tomorrow night, and indeed anytime you want to watch it on the iPlayer. Let's get another update on Real Madrid Bayern Munich from Maz Farouki.
Big Real chance tipped round the post by Neuer, John. The shot from Mbappe, but it was the marauding run forward and pass to him from Bellingham that was so impressive. He's come on in this second half. He's trying to grab this match by the scruff of the neck, Bellingham, but it's still Real 0, Bayern 2.
Bellingham obviously performing in front of Thomas Tuchel, having trained with England over the course of the last week and a half or so. Arsenal, having had that goal ruled out, here's Madueke on the right wing, attacking down into the full-back position. And then Maxi Araujo does well. It's been a good contrast that between those two. And it is the Uruguayan who comes out with the ball for Sporting and is running it out from the back. He might run himself into trouble. He has. He's been dispossessed. Now Zubamendi will give it to Gyökeres, edge of the box on the left-hand side. Gyökeres does get the shot in, but miss-hit really. And it just rolled through to Rui Silva, who was able to lean forward and pick it up.
Yeah, tough chance, wasn't it? Not a lot of space for Gyökeres to manoeuvre the ball. He had to take the shot so early as he just slips it back onto his right foot to come inside. There's about 4 Sporting players all around him, and he can't get any power on the shot.
In the other matches still, Wrexham 1, Southampton 3, Port Vale 1, Rotherham 0, and Bromley 2, Shrewsbury 1. 0-0 here. And here's Trossard. Arsenal building a little bit of momentum, moving infield. Trossard, the Arsenal number 19, who's not scored in his last 18 appearances, Leandro Trossard. Here he is on the edge of the area, first time touch. Back to Odegaard, back on the field. Odegaard seems okay. Madueke with a cross to the back post. Diamande's underneath that, headed out. Trossard again underneath it. Odegaard to the right-hand side. Arsenal are working Sporting here. Madueke goes past Maxi Araujo, gets the cross into the near post, but Inacio's able to head it up in the air, and it is caught more or less on the line by the goalkeeper on the dead ball line. So it wasn't a corner. The assistant was watching very carefully, and then he launches it downfield, but Declan Rice is able to recover possession for Arsenal.
That was well mopped up from Rice there. Judges the ball brilliantly. This is coming out of the sky. I mean, how he adjusted his feet to get hold of that and then just make it look so easy to tidy up that situation. But Arsenal, there's a few little holes starting to appear, John, isn't there? We get to that stage in the game where legs are starting to get a bit tired. Just over 20 minutes left.
And at this point, Matt, it looks as though Kai Havertz is going to be brought on by Mikel Arteta, the man who scored that equaliser in Leverkusen in the first leg of the round of 16, the man who scored a Champions League final winning goal, lest you forget, in his Chelsea days. And will it be Gyökeres who comes off?
Oh, I don't know. It could be Odegaard.
It could well be.
We'll have to see, but
as the ball is
good player to come on at this stage.
It is, to White. White inside the penalty area, but Maxi Araujo was able to take the ball away from him, and then Inacio clears it. It's still 0-0. Tomorrow night, here on 5 Live, you will hear the first leg of PSG against Liverpool. Football Daily on BBC Sounds for all of the reaction to tonight and the build-up to tomorrow, as Sporting win a free kick in the central third of the field. And we will have another stoppage with, 20 minutes to play of this first leg. Actually, over the piece, it's been a match of quite a few chances, as Havertz is going to come on, you're right, Matt, for Odegaard.
Yeah, I had a feeling it might be Odegaard. I mean, whether or not that's injury related or not, who knows? I mean, his fitness hasn't quite been at the top, has it, Odegaard, in terms of getting going this season, and he had that long spell down with the trainer coming on to give him some treatment.
Yeah, the various spells that he's had out, this is just his 18th start in all competitions. And the way that Calafiori came across to speak to him as he was walking off the field kind of suggested that there might be and as he walks away, sort of head down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks, it's a man, it's a face of it, as if to say, not again. Like, you know, he looks like he's up against it with his body, doesn't he? Like, it just keeps letting him down a little bit, and he can't quite get that run of games to get into the top rhythm that where you want your players. And in these matches at this time of the season, you want players that are right in that hot point of form, and he's finding it really difficult to get there.
Sporting 0, Arsenal 0, after the Zubamendi goal was ruled out because Gyökeres in the build-up was in an offside position. Sporting on the back foot as the ball is passed forward for a first burst forward by Havertz, but that skips off the pitch. I think it's dry at the moment, but it has been wet here, so there is dampness about, and the ball skipped through and out of play for a throw-in to Sporting, who are playing here in Champions League European Cup quarter-final for the first time for 43 years. Sporting take the throw, and then a foul by Gyökeres and a free kick in the left-back position. The ball is played right across the penalty area by Sporting. Ousmane Diomande will run the ball forward, but then checks back and plays it back to the edge of the box. So further news on Real Madrid Bayern Munich from Maz Farouki for you.
Kylian Mbappe has pulled a goal back for Real. It's been coming for them in the last couple of minutes. They've really tried to ramp up the pressure. Tight angle from the left, good finish from the Frenchman. They're just checking, but he was definitely onside, and it did cross the line, so it will stand. The cross, by the way, too, and came from Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. So it's Real 1, Bayern 2.
Catamore for Sporting on the right, crosses it in, but Ben White's able to head it away, and Arsenal win a free kick 10 yards inside their own half. Actually, it's going to be taken midway inside the first half. 0-0 it is. Arsenal, who have, during the course of this Champions League campaign, having won all of the matches in the league phase, just that one draw against Bayer Leverkusen of the 10 matches that they've played that Arsenal have not won. But if it was to finish like this, Arsenal would take this, wouldn't they?
Oh, it'd be a great result. That'd be a 0-0 here would be a great result. I mean, they've not conceded barely any goals in the Champions League either. I think only, what, 4 in the first 8 matches, wasn't it? Conceded, and then
and then just the one
against Leverkusen. So I mean, it's an amazing record to get a clean sheet here. If they were to achieve that, would be a real positive.
Yep. The only team to have won here this season was the current Portuguese league leaders, Porto. And Sporting are currently involved, and that was back in August. And Sporting are involved in a Portuguese Cup semi-final against Porto at the moment. Second leg still to come. Sporting won the first leg. Arsenal out of the FA Cup, out of the Carabao Cup, but still very much in control in the Premier League with the lead that they have, the 9-point lead. But that match against Manchester City at the Etihad is looming large. You will hear it on 5 Live. Arsenal coming forward. White. Minds and concentration on the Champions League. As Madueke, left-footed ball in. Oh, lovely delivery, but over the top of Gyökeres and all through everyone inside the 6-yard box and beyond the far post.
That's really good play from Madueke. I think Arsenal have been a lot better in this second half in terms of creating opportunities and chances. The quality into the box has been better, and it's a great left-footed ball, whipped at a lovely height, just misses Gyökeres, and then it's Trossard who can't get it at the back post. But I think the ball was intended for Gyökeres, and it's probably about a yard too far in front of him. He couldn't get any contact, any kind of touch there with that quality of ball. That would have been in the back of the net.
Now then, we are going to see Martinelli and Dauman coming on for the last 15 minutes of this match. Mikel Arteta is going to change both his wide men, it would appear. And we are going to see Dauman in the Champions League here in the quarter-final tonight. 0-0. Sporting with Ignacio, who just had to be sharp there, with Kai Havertz not far away from him. Catamore now receives the ball, turns. He's got Arsenal shirts, 2 lines of them in front of him, but he's been able to find the pass through. Then there's a touch from Fresneda. They're like this, the home supporters. But the cross from Trincao is blocked out of play. And will we see that change now? Martinelli and Dauman are coming forward. Yes, the referee blows his whistle. So the changes to be made for Arsenal. Trossard is going to make way on one side, and Madueke on the other. So straight swaps.
He's limping off with a bit of a grimace here, Trossard, as well. I know he's got cramp or something in his calf. But an understandable switch last 15 minutes of the game just to freshen up those wide positions, and great to see Max Dauman come on in the Champions League, and what a stage to be playing your football at 16 years old.
Well, isn't it just? Max Dauman turned 16 on New Year's Eve already played in the Champions League, the first 16-year-old to play in the Champions League in November, and now he comes on, having dazzled in the time that he was involved against Southampton on Saturday night, and also playing in Portugal, where, have you seen the brilliant goal that he scored for the England under-19s?
I read about it, I haven't seen it.
Yes, I had a watch of it this morning.
Good?
Oh, and actually it was video footage of his highlights from that match.
A couple of assists as well, didn't he?
It was actually boy against boys, but it was like a man against boys.
Yeah, I think, like, you know, he's clearly at the level to be going up the few gears, but I think certainly with England, that, you know, the buy-in to where the player is at in terms of physically, emotionally, and yet that maturity of development, I think quite wisely, you've got to let that run its course and take your time and be careful what you expose a 16-year-old to too early.
Diamante, long pass from him, but he's annoyed with himself. It floats all the way through into the gloves of Raya. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. I must say, I don't think it is absolutely out of the question that he might be in the England World Cup squad, Max Dowman. But let's see what happens between now and the end of the season. And Sporting are going to bring on their young forward, Raphael Nel, next time the ball goes out of play. He's the number 90. So Luis Suarez, number 97, and number 90 is going to come on to join him. So positive moves by both coaches here, Mikel Arteta and Rui Borges. Calafiori into the box down the left-hand side, plays it into the penalty area, but behind Gyökeres, and Sporting are able to clear it. Sporting with Pote, who looks to get it back, but actually Luis Suarez now to the left-hand side, where Maxi Araujo will play it down the line, and then it's work in field, and then passed out to Catamor. Catamor brings it down inside the Arsenal penalty area, shoots, goes for the near post. Calafiori was there with him, and he's saying that it took a touch off the Arsenal defender, but the referee says no, it didn't. It's a goal kick. Didn't threaten the goal.
Yeah, nice snapshot though, pulls it into the near post. David Raya had the whole area covered, but he just tries to catch him out and smashes it through the legs of Calafiori. But like you say, John, well wide of that near post.
And the change now, and he's taking off Pote, Pedro Gonçalves, and Raphael Nel comes on to replace him. Raphael Nel, 21 years old, actually only made his first start for the club on Friday against Santa Clara, and scored in that match. Santa Clara, who are from the Azores, Matt. That would be a nice away trip, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've been to the Azores.
Have you?
Yeah.
What was it like?
It was a long time ago. I was about 18. I think I played Portugal there.
In the Azores?
With England, yeah. It was in the Azores, yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah. You certainly weren't pulling out of that international camp.
I know. No, and weirdly, I'm sure we kind of went to the streets, and there was some kind of like ritual in one of the towns where there was bulls running down the street. And, yeah, really interesting.
So that's the Azores for you.
Yeah.
10 minutes to go. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. And Arsenal with the ball with Gabriel, who's now taken the captain's armband, I notice, after Odegaard went off the field. Forward from White. Arsenal still inside their own half, and then a foul on Dowman. Just a shove in the back from Maxi Araujo, who gives the teenager a little welcome there.
Yeah.
Free
not
kick.
A surprise, is it?
It's not.
Not a surprise. But, you know, Max Dowman has that air about him. When he has the ball, he creates time. And everyone says that about every great player, don't they? That they have time on the ball because they're able to manipulate it in that way.
And here he is cutting in from the right-hand side. Dowman passing it into the penalty area to White, pushing forward from right back. Havertz is out on the right flank, still waiting for the first goal of this first leg here in Lisbon. Zubimendi thought he'd scored, but the goal was ruled out. Ball out to the right-hand side again. Dowman wants it on the right wing from White, but Arsenal go back into the centre circle. Gabriel Just a pass to his right, to Saliba. Sporting supporters, you can hear them, the rhythm being beaten out by a drum somewhere over to our right, possibly in the top tier. Now, Arsenal again with Zubimendi. Might have got a shove in the back. Ball to the edge of the area, bounces off Havertz, and then again off Havertz, or possibly off the defender. No, it was off Havertz, and it is a goal kick. So still 0-0 here with 10 minutes of the first leg to go, but already 3 goals in the Real Madrid-Bayern Munich match. Maz Farouki. We'll hear from Maz in a moment or two. Still a goal kick for Sporting. That Rui Silva will pass out from the back. And instead of Maz Farouki, it's to Wrexham and Sani Rudravajala.
Well, we've had such an impressive performance by Southampton. Wrexham 1, Southampton 4. A free kick, and off the bench, it's Ross Stewart, hero against Arsenal, and he gets on the end of it as well. Remember, Southampton made 6 changes going into this game, and they are tearing Wrexham apart. Wrexham 1, Southampton 4.
So that is going to be Southampton replacing Wrexham in the playoff positions. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. And now we can hear the latest from Maz Farouki.
Yeah, Vincent Kompany looking very animated on the touchline now at the Bernabeu. John Real really pushing for the equaliser. He's brought Musiala and Davies for the last 6 minutes plus stoppage time. Kompany, as Vinicius Jr. has forced another save from Neuer. It's still Real 1, Bayern 2, but it's very, very tense.
0-0 here in Lisbon. Fresneda. Luis Suarez in the full-back position, taking on Calafiori. Beats him, gets the cross into the near post. Deflected goalwards by Catamon. Raya doing very well. A sharp save down to his left to push it around the post.
Yeah, I think sharp save is probably the best way to describe that. It's a real reaction with the left hand from David Raya. Good glancing header from really good work by Suarez to get the ball in. And then all of a sudden, Raya has to get down so quickly. It's a real reaction, and it's down low as well, which makes it even trickier.
Yeah, good save that. Yeah. Here's the corner into the near post, where it's well headed away by Havertz. Out of play for a throw-in to Sporting. And that's going to be left by Trincao. Trincao took the corner, but he's going to leave the throw to Fresneda. 7 minutes to go, plus added time. Still 0-0. And 5 Live Sport on the air tonight till 10:30, when Tony Livesey will be taking over. So we'll round and wrap up everything for you in that last half hour, which may well include reaction from Wrexham Southampton. Sani Rudravajala.
It's unrelenting from Southampton. They've scored again. Wrexham 1, Southampton 5. It's a wonderful goal, and Finn Azaz picks up the second ball to finish. Wrexham 1, Southampton 5.
Oh, what a result that is. Off the back of knocking Arsenal out of the FA Cup. Tonda Eckhart is making quite an impression, isn't he? Sporting coming forward. Here's Trincao. Back to Inacio. And Inacio receives it again. Thought about the long pass down the line for Maxi Araujo. Instead, short ball to his right to Diamande. Then Maxi Araujo. He's challenged by Ben White. And then White gets another chance to play it down the line to Dauman. Dauman is quickly closed down by Trincao, but the 16-year-old is able to keep the ball, stay on his feet, and then the challenge comes in, and it's a free kick to Arsenal, 10 yards inside the Sporting half. They take it quickly to Zubimendi. They're thinking about perhaps getting a goal and taking a lead back to London next week. Declan Rice. Now the shot from Martinelli, and down goes Rui Silva, and is able to make a routine save, really, dropping to his left. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. Full time now in League One. Port Vale Rotherham, David Canaan.
Yes, despite them dominating the majority of the second half, Rotherham couldn't find that elusive equaliser. Ryan Croasdale's early goal was enough. A precious win for bottom side Port Vale, but it might be too little too late. Full-time score here, Port Vale 1, Rotherham 0.
Thank you, David. Sporting 0, Arsenal 0. Sporting, who've won their last 17 home matches in all competitions. A club record for this great club of Portugal's capital city. Ball out of play for a throw-in to Arsenal, halfway inside their own half. And I think that's it sounded like the crowd figure being announced, didn't it?
Yeah.
got a great voice, hasn't he? The man over channel here.
He has. He lets it rip, doesn't he?
Yes, he certainly does. Wouldn't be surprised if he might have had a stint on Radio Lisbon's breakfast show at some stage. Here's Gabriel Calafiori to his left, then to his right to Saliba. And with this scoreline 0-0, 4 minutes of the 90 to play, whatever happens now, it is looking as though it is going to be tight, very like the Bayer Leverkusen tie in the round of 16 for Arsenal to get into the semi-finals. Never been in 2 consecutive semi-finals in the Champions League or European Cup. Sporting, though, they're thinking about perhaps getting the goal. Forward to Catamo. Catamo now up to the edge of the penalty area, right side of the box, shoots straight at Raya. Raya, oh, excellent recovery. Excellent recovery as the ball was actually got away from him initially, and he was able to react brilliantly to get up and make sure that he blocked the second attempt, I think, from Luis Suarez.
Yeah, it was Luis Suarez on the follow-up, but I have to say, when Sporting get that flow and they sense the opportunity to throw bodies forward, they go all out. They really do, and they play the ball wide quickly. It was a lovely sweeping move and great second save from David Raya to get up from, I say the fumble, the ball just popped out and he got down and blocked brilliantly.
And then here he is again, Raya, as the ball was played through into the penalty area beyond Luis Suarez, but he was able to come out. He was able to come out and slide positively and take possession of the ball. But an important save. That's now, you know, the save onto the crossbar in the first half. The sharp save from Catamo, and that little double save there. Raya back in the team.
I mean, we spoke about it before, didn't we? What he brings, he showed tonight. He's been composed with the ball, made good decisions when to play short, when to play long, and has communicated really well. He is a top presence, and Arsenal are certainly a better team when he's in goal.
Bayern Munich were winning 2-0 in Madrid against Real, as there's a foul for Sporting in the central third of the field. It was Declan Rice with a chat, or was it Havertz with a challenge? Anyway, it's a free kick to Sporting. As I say, Bayern Munich were 2-0 up against Real Madrid, but Mbappe scored. And now what's happened, Maz Farouki?
And a great chance for a second, just wide of the right post. And Musiala just before that with a chance at the other end. He was falling in the Real area as he connected with the ball. That bobbled wide of the right post. A great finish to this one. We're into the first of 4 minutes of second half stoppage time. And it is still Real 1, Bayern 2.
Tomorrow night, 5 Live to listen to PSG against Liverpool. Thursday night, 5 Live to listen to Bologna against Aston Villa, live from Italy, and the start of the Masters Thursday night from 8 o'clock. The commentary begins on Sports Extra. Arsenal with Declan Rice. Rice, right-footed, all the way across. Dowman is having to watch it drop over his right shoulder. Dowman shielding it from the defender, then twists to his left, still Dowman. Maxi Araujo's just able to get a touch in on the ball, and Sporting clear it away. Arsenal through the middle this time. Declan Rice, remember this time last year, this was the round where Rice scored the 2 free kicks against Real Madrid. Now Ben White stretching for it. Dowman almost gets there, but Maxi Araujo slid in and was able to put in an effective block, effective tackle, and then eventually wins the throw-in down in his own left-back position. We're in the 90th minute, Matt.
Yeah, it's poised really nicely for the second leg, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be an interesting game that at the Emirates next week, but both teams have really kind of defended well in this game. I think the energy and the work rate that both teams are putting in, the discipline, nobody's really slipped up, nobody's really switched off and not done their job or not tracked back in. I think both coaches have got the teams really well organised and pressing well. Not a lot of space on the pitch to get a lot of joy, and that's been the case all evening, really.
Just 2 minutes of added time. Yeah, controlled performance from Arsenal tonight, and a very good response after the 2 defeats in a row in the Carabao Cup final and the FA Cup. Martinelli, he's not given this up yet. Martinelli clips it into the box. It's taken down by Havertz! Left foot finish! Brilliantly done! Controlled it with 1 foot, put it away with the other, and Arsenal lead in added time in the first leg here in Lisbon, and that is just the tonic for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. 1-0 against Sporting.
What a brilliant goal as well. We're just talking about the lack of space, the lack of ability to find any space and create opportunities, and that's exactly what Martinelli does here, all by himself, with just sheer pace and sharpness coming inside the pitch. And once he's created that space, I'll tell you what, he doesn't have to do well to find a brilliant little ball with his right foot where he digs it into the middle of the box. And we spoke about Kai Havertz, and what a great player to bring on off the bench with 15-20 minutes to go. He just ghosts into the middle of the box. Sporting have just got a little bit disjointed. No centre-back really clocks him. He's in the space between the centre-back and the full-back, and he's got so much time to just have his first touch, control it, and he just strokes it calmly, side-footed, with his left foot right into the bottom corner. Lovely work goal from Arsenal.
Well, he scored the crucial goal, didn't he, right at the end of the first leg in Germany against his old club, Bayer Leverkusen, and he's repeated the feat here in the first leg of the quarter-final, and a high-quality piece of finishing from Kai Havertz, a high-quality goal.
It was, top goal, and the one thing with it, it's easy just to panic in that situation because you've got time. It comes to you, he took it on the half volley to control it, but he was so composed with the finish.
Well, the deflation around this stadium, you can actually feel it. The home supporters who've seen their team win and win. Catamol curling it in, Raya comes. He's able to punch it away under no real threat. And I make it, we've had the 2 minutes. Obviously, time will be added on for the goal celebration, the aftermath. Mikel Arteta's virtually on the pitch again. I mean, this is just what he needed. What a response this is, to come here under pressure, although edge of the area, chance, bounces across, and actually bounces away from Nell.
Wow.
Couldn't get the touch, and Arsenal clear.
That was close. Very, very close. What, a yard, I reckon? Nell just couldn't react quick enough. The ball could have gone anywhere there.
Final seconds here. Arsenal winning 1-0. The late goal from Kai Havertz, the man for the Champions League moment. Sporting playing it forward to Catamo. Catamo brings it down. This will probably be the last attack of the match. Still Catamo. He's waiting for Fresneda to join him. Fresneda is there. Here's the cross. Deflects off Calafiori, but that took it closer to David Raya. The referee says, hang on to the ball. Is he going to blow the whistle? I think that is it. It is the end of the first leg, won late on by that fine goal from Kai Havertz. And Arsenal have put those 2 wins in a row in the League Cup final and the FA Cup behind them. They've come here to Lisbon, and this is some win for them against Sporting, who are a real force here in the current time in this stadium.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's a massive win. And I thought a 0-0 was going to be a really positive result to take back to the Emirates from next week, but to nick it right at the end, it was a very measured performance from Arsenal, back to that kind of controlled element that we've seen most of the season. They had calmness, but they had that spine back, John, didn't they? They had the likes of Rice and Zubimendi and Odegaard, and importantly David Raya, who